the I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Michael Pasvar.
What's up, dude?
Welcome back.
I'm back.
This is your last time in the studio. We're downsizing.
It's crazy. A lot of times. I've been in this room a lot of times.
Yeah, for your podcast and for this one. But yeah, I want to use the funds that I'm spending on this for other things. So probably more recordings. So it's time to downsize.
There you go.
Time to shut it down. But I'll miss it.
Hurrah.
I got maybe 4 or 5 interviews left in here that are booked up. It's May now, and I'll be out of here in June. So I'm probably going to give myself a couple weeks to, break it down.
Well,
I'm allergic to the studio now.
Yeah. You're allergic to change.
Yeah. Anyway, but dude, Blended Feathers.
It's
out in the world. Congratulations.
No, congratulations to you.
You worked on it for how long? You told me 18 months. I mean, I know you'd worked on it a little bit, but like really working on the set.
I think it ended up, so what, we recorded in December, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say that the first time I worked the set from start to finish was August 2024. So what's that, 14-ish months?
Yeah, I don't know. Don't make
whatever.
me do math.
Something like that, right? So yeah, 14, 18 months.
Yeah.
And what's the first time I ever did it was end of August 2024. It wasn't what it ended up being, obviously.
Yeah.
But I remember, I think I had a 45-minute set that night, and I had to like look at my phone. And I even told the crowd, I was like, I'm working on a new material. Y'all ready for it? Let's do it.
Yeah.
I started the show off with some old stuff, then did some all of Blended Feathers stuff, and then I think I closed it with some old stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to put all that together when you're not used to, because there is a memory that, memorization that has to, process that has to go into it, especially when you're used to doing other stuff.
Can I tell you something I've been holding this whole time? Because we'd already agreed to do the recording, and me and my wife and some friends came to watch you at the Kessler.
January of 2025, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And you didn't do a bunch of Blended Feathers material there, but there was a couple, like a premise or two maybe, that you'd kind of touched on. I can't remember exactly. But the whole show was fine. Everything was fine. But I can't remember exactly who, but definitely my wife was talking about it. She talked to me about all this stuff. But the general conversation was like, is he going to be ready? And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, well, I mean, it was fine, but like, you're going to record that? And I was like, guys, I don't think we'd set a recording date at that time.
Yeah, I don't think, or we might have, or we were close to it or something.
Yeah, I think we were looking at it, and I go, look, I was like, because, my wife knows I go and watch these open mics and these bar shows. I was like, there's a progression. I was like, I'm not worried about it. I was like, it's fine. And they're like, but that's not really like a special yet or anything. I was like, nope.
No,
but it's fine.
It was like a 10-minute set. It wasn't anything. And what's...
Yeah, but there, you could just see this concern from my friends and family that I was going to be investing time and money into this. And I was like, I know how it looks, but I was like, I promise you, when we get to this point, I was like, him and I have already had conversations about like how like serious we got to take this. I was like, it's going to be fine. But you could see the concern, and then leading up to it, they're just like, how is it? I was like, oh, I don't know, I haven't watched any of it.
How were their concerns afterwards?
No, they loved it. Everybody's happy. And that's what I told them. I go, I think that's one of the reasons I'm so happy that I've gone to watch. I've had the pleasure of watching people progress from an open mic to a bar show to maybe like a host spot or something.
Yeah.
And you see something grow. Whereas, 4 or 5 years ago, I would have seen that and been like, Mike's not ready. No way. And it's like, no. That's the workout part. That's the working on it part.
And I will say this, and not all my material is this way, but especially the material for this special, it didn't work for 10 minutes. I think that a lot of it is good when it's all together. Otherwise, it just doesn't because even when I would go places and I would get only like a 20-minute set.
Yeah, it's tough.
There were things in it I was like, well, I'm not doing that joke. I'm not doing this one. I'm not doing that one because this is a long story. They don't have enough time to really get to know me yet. It's not going to make sense. You know what I mean? So it doesn't. I don't think that set worked for small things.
Well, that's also what I was telling them. I was like, look, he's been a comic for over a decade. I was like, he knows that I don't want to waste time and money.
Yeah, I don't want to waste time. I'm not going to. You think I'm
Yeah.
going to be like, hey, guys, I'm filming this thing and it's going to suck?
I know.
Absolutely not.
I was like,
Yeah.
we both have a mutual interest in this being done well. I was like, he's going to be fine. And but always in the same for you too, towards me. But it's like always in the back of your mind. It's like you're like, it's going to be fine. But then it's like late at night, you're like, what about if it's not? Is he really working on it though? Like, what if this guy is phoning it in?
Yeah. Or if
Not
I just
working
show
on
up, I've never done it. Hey, all this is new. I'm just reading off a notebook.
Yeah. Well, you did say you showed up and you did the last part about your dad. You said was the first time you'd ever done it.
That's the first time I'd ever done it. Yeah.
So you did do
absolutely.
that.
Well, but okay. To be fair, it wasn't that I just was like, hey, I thought about it that night and did it. It was something that I worked on, for the entirety of the same 14 months that I was working on everything else. I was working on that as well.
Like just in your mind?
In my mind.
Yeah.
You know, and like breaking down how I wanted to do it and everything like that. I just wanted it to be organic.
Yeah. No, well, in your phase of comedy, you know what beats are going to hit and not hit. So, I mean, I try, but no, it makes me laugh. You're like, well, I'm not going to go up there unplayed. Yeah. I'm not going to go up there with something I've never done.
But yeah, I kind of did.
No, I love it. I mean, we talked about it before with the one take because doing one take, it's not like we want to do one take. It's out of necessity. It's like we can't sell, 600 tickets for 3 shows and, I can't hire a camera crew for 2 nights.
No.
We can't do that yet. We're not at that phase of our profession. And Lawrence was the same way. Lawrence Rosales recording his special. He can't sell out, a club 2 times. But I have come to I like this pressure of one take.
Yeah.
I think that there's something to it that, just makes you take it seriously. Because I've talked to a few people who we have not ended up working with because they kind of have some unrealistic budget expectations, and they'll approach you and be like, well, what are you thinking about? And they're like, well, and these aren't people to be on like, I'm a fan of. It's like a for hire type thing.
Yeah.
Which I would very much love to do for people. I would love to do that. And they're like, just something simple. I'm thinking just like 2 nights, 4 shows, like 4 or 5 cameras. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, have you thought about like budget? And they're like, what was that? Like a couple $1,000, $2,000-$3,000? And I'm like, no, I mean, it's going to be so expensive,
Yeah, your time alone just setting up.
Yeah, because it's
for
not
multiple days.
Let's say I'm not paying me. It's like you're just talking about a camera crew of 4 to 5 people 2 nights in a row for you're doing 2 shows, but they're there for what, 5-6 hours if they do that.
Yeah,
right. Because
there's the $2,000.
They got to sit through the other acts and all that stuff. They got to set up before and break down after. So it's not like they shoot your set from the back of the room and take off. They're there for hours and hours, and that alone, we're into the thousands now. And that's if I don't charge you anything for my time, and I do the audio for free, the editing for free, all of that.
Yeah.
And they just have this kind of unrealistic expectation of how, like when you see a shiny, beautiful Netflix special, that it's like, I personally don't know how much that costs, but my guess is it's like 30 to 50 grand or something.
Yeah.
Right. Because they have all these people working on those sets instead of just like you and me doing it.
Yeah.
And then I would just tell them, like, well, why not just one? And they're like, well, I want these extra takes, but it's like, I know you want those takes, but I've never talked to Bill Burr. I've never talked to Dave Chappelle, but my guess is those extra takes for them are not so much about their delivery and how well they performed. It's more about, this fucking person coughed or heckled or something weird that they had to swap out. And maybe it's performance based, but they're so good that we know they can get through that set in one take fine. They're probably just looking for absolute perfection, right? I think at our level, putting the pressure of the one take is probably more important to give you that sense of like, I got to be razor sharp.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that at all.
Oh,
but
100%. Yeah. I felt the pressure was on, and I kind of liked it. Mm-hmm. The pressure was on. It made it where I have to hit this hard,
Mm-hmm.
and if not, then we just wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
We just wasted so much time if we don't do it. So the entire, probably the 18 hours leading up to the filming, I was like a nervous ball of energy I wasn't so much worried about the performance aspect of it. I will say this: when you're at the level that I'm at, people that are coming to see a show that's somewhat, even if they know you a lot, even if they barely know you,
Yeah.
right? I personally sold most of those tickets to either people that had been to shows before, people that know me, people that I've worked, whatever, right? Some of them, they were strangers, but you know, I know them from, they know me from social media, from going to a show.
There was a contact of some kind.
Everybody is contacting you as if you work for the venue.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, or it's like a birthday party. It's like, don't text the bride at the wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I finally turned my phone off.
Yeah.
On Saturday, my wife was
Just
like,
all the like, where do we park? Do
where
they
do we
have
park?
bathrooms?
Is there going to be food there? What time should I get there? I know the show says it starts at 7 and the doors open at 6, but what do you think I should get there? Hey man, I'm not, it looks like I bought 4 tickets and 2 of them got sick. You know anybody else that might want to buy my tickets? Hey dude, looks like that I got 4 friends that want to come to the show now, and I know it's sold out, but is it like really sold out? I mean,
And this is all the day of.
that was some of the day of.
Yeah.
It started that Monday. That Monday, it was like text messages. Hey, can you help me sell my tickets? I can't go anymore. And I'm like, I mean, maybe. At first, I was
Because part of you, you're like, yeah, because I want the people there.
yes.
But then you're thinking like, no, I don't want to do this.
At first, I was like that. I was like, yeah, man. Like, and for a couple times, I did. I was like, hey, this is their Venmo. This is this. Hey, this is their email address. Let me put y'all in a group text. And I did that, right?
Yeah.
But then after a while, I was like, I can't do this all day, every day. And especially I think it started Friday night to where I started getting logistical questions from people where it was like, hey, what time should I get there? Where should I park? What's all this and everything like that? I'm like, well, they sent you an email because I asked them to send you an email.
They have a website.
There's a phone number on there. Hey, I can't find my tickets.
You can look on Google Maps if you need
Yeah.
to. You can see if they have a parking lot.
I got this one no less than 5 times. Hey, I can't find my tickets. Do you know?
You're good. I'm just gonna back that.
Yeah,
right
I
where
can't-
it's hitting you.
I can't find my tickets. Do you know where I find them? I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Which is
There's
wild,
a
like-
phone number.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to an event before? Like, this is your first time to leave
But you
the
also,
house?
but you're also like, please show up though.
Yeah. So
Please
you want
show up.
So there's this like fine line where you're
I really need you.
Yeah. There's this fine line where you're like trying not to be a jerk.
Yeah.
And you want to be helpful, but at the same time, you're like, this isn't what I should be concerned about. There was one person that I felt so bad for them because they knew how to find their tickets. They weren't asking me like, hey, how do I find tickets? They were like, I have searched this email. I have searched my phone number. I have done this. I've done this. I cannot find them anywhere.
Yeah.
And they were literally going to go. And they're like, maybe I didn't buy tickets. And I thought I did. So they went onto the website and there was this was like, because we sold out with like 10 to 15 days before the show.
Right.
So they were like, I'm just going to go and I guess I need to go buy tickets again. And then they went on there and there was only like 3 tickets left and they had 6 people coming. They're like, what the heck did they do? So they texted my wife. My wife texted me and I was like, well, let me reach out to the person at the NAC. And she texted me right back and I was like, hey, will you see if there's someone with this name under it and tell me what email address that they had on file? And she goes, yeah, here it is. They bought 6 tickets. It's this email address. So I texted my wife and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I used that email address. I haven't used that in years. That's why I can't find it. So I felt bad for them because they were literally, they didn't reach out to us until it was like
You could tell they were trying to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like about to go buy tickets a second time.
But also, thank God the NAC. What was that nice woman's name?
Ashley.
You know, thank goodness, like they were so easy to deal with.
Oh, dude.
Whereas, like, you know, if we had done, unfortunately, like if we had done that at a club, it would have just been like, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. They should know where their tickets are. And because I remember her talking about that, and she's like, you know, even if they're not on there, like we'll figure it out. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
Well, what's funny is that how on top of everything she was, and she was like a 1-person operation. Everything we did went through her.
Yeah.
And then the day of the show, there was another guy that helped her out.
Yeah, like the sound guy came in and he was helping out a little bit, and somebody set up the chairs, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, when we're like setting up our stuff, I'm like, hey, can you do this, that, and she's like, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you want?
Sure.
We'll do that. Okay. Yeah.
I was like, God, it's, you know, it was definitely we won't get into the details, but it was a 180 difference for the better from the first special I filmed with Lawrence.
Yeah.
In terms of just being on top of it, being like communicating well, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just miles ahead of that.
Yeah. So that 18 hours before the show was nerve wracking. And then I had like plans on how I wanted the day to go. They did not go the way I wanted them at all. And that's what I was telling you. I had stories to tell you that happened that I have not even told you. So,
well, I remember I wrecked one of them because we were doing sound check or something, doing all these things, and you like wanted to like get away and like eat a meal or take a nap or something.
I wanted to go to the gym.
Oh, okay. Anyway, sorry. Tell me your day. Explain your day the way you'd like to.
Okay, so that morning, obviously, this life is happening. I did not sleep well the night before because we had a bunch of people in our house or whatever, right? So I didn't sleep well. I had gotten a hotel for that night because I didn't want to, we had I wanted my parents to. We don't let strangers like babysitters watch our kids. It's either like my parents or my wife's parents or whatever. So my wife's parents came in town to watch the kids so that my parents could go to the show and my wife would go to the show. And whatever, right? So we had a full house that night. So I wanted to stay at a hotel afterwards. So we met for sound check at like 3 or something like that. So I went, checked into the hotel. The plan was I'm going to check into the hotel, go do sound check. I'll come back, do a workout at the hotel, take a shower, and then come back up. Okay?
Yeah.
Luckily, when I checked into the hotel, I took my bag up to the room, but I did not take with me my show clothes, right? Because I was like in workout gear when we were doing the sound check.
Yeah.
So we do the sound check or whatever. It goes a lot longer than it was supposed to, right? There was also some big event that was going on in downtown Frisco that night.
Oh.
So there was it took me a long time even that afternoon to get to the theater. So I started like doing the math in my head. I was like, I don't have enough time to even go back. So I'm just going to have to change here, blah, 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 right? So I'm starting to change. I realize I don't have a belt. Remember I sent a text message?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I don't have a belt. That's why I'm sending a text message like, anybody have a belt, right? Well, then I go to change, okay? So I have sweatpants on, and then I have shorts underneath it to work out in. Well, the shorts that I wear to work out in have built-in underwear. So as I take my sweatpants off, I remember what shorts I have on, and I'm like, I don't have underwear on. So I'm freaking out. Like, it's 6:30 at this point. The show is in 30 minutes. There's no way I'm going anywhere to get underwear and coming back. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm just wearing pants over shorts. Okay.
You didn't want to borrow Kenny Lee's underwear?
No, so then that's what I told you. Is like, I don't need the belt because now I have shorts on. So that's like kind of keeping the pants up. Okay. So, that happens. That happens. And this ties into the next part of it. And I've been wanting to tell you this for the longest time, but okay. So, my best friend, Sonny.
Yes.
We ran a marathon with him. He's been on this podcast a couple times. Okay. Sonny is a funny guy. He also always makes fun of me for that I don't wear baggy pants, that my pants are always tight. Okay. So, all right. During the show, I have a part where I read off lyrics from my phone.
Right.
Okay. So the way I did it every time I would ever do that bit is I would text the lyrics to myself so that every single time that I did that, so it would be the first thing on my phone. Okay. So I open up my phone and I have a text message from Sonny, who I already see where he's at because he's in the front row. He's a text message from Sonny that says, "Dog, I can literally see your penis through your pants." So there is a moment, and you can go back to the. If you clip this part,
watch it now.
If you clip this part, you can put you can put this part into the.
I know exactly where it is.
Clip.
It's the my body, your body.
Yes.
Bit. Yeah.
So there is a moment where I have my phone out. I am reading it, and there's like a split second where I have to tell myself, "We are recording this." Do not read. I was going to read it out loud. I almost was like, I have to talk about this.
Because if this was a club show, it would be.
Yes.
This would be incredible.
I would have said it, and I would have gone on for 5 minutes about it.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, shit, I don't have underwear on. I don't have underwear on.
Yeah.
People, whatever, right? So there is a moment where I read, I look at, I stop. I then play with my shirt. I look down at my crotch and I pull my shirt down just a little bit, right? And so I'm sitting there,
And then you look to Sonny.
and I kind of look at him just a little. I was like, do not make eye contact with him. No. You know what I mean? Because this will end the entire night. This will ruin everything. But it also probably would have been hysterical.
Yeah.
Because a part of me is like, when I'm doing shows, I want to stay present and in the moment. You know? And so I made myself and then after the show, he's like, you get my text message or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, I got you. He's like, nah, I was just messing with you, dog. I couldn't see your penis. But he's like, I know how you like to wear those tight pants.
God.
So,
well, did he didn't know you were going to pull your phone out in the middle of the set, though.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Right? So he goes, I was hoping that it would like buzz. He's like, I don't know where you had your phone, and I had my phone on Do Not Disturb. Mm-hmm. So he was like, I was hoping that maybe you would get like a notification or whatever. But he has no idea that I'm going to read out of my, read something from my phone, the lyrics or whatever. And so it was funny is you were telling me whenever you would send me the rough drafts, like, don't show anybody this, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't really show anybody any of it, but he came in town.
You mean like the lighting rough drafts or what?
When you would send me the rough drafts.
Of the mixes. Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't show this yet to anybody or whatever.
Yeah.
So he came in town in end of January, beginning of February. He stayed the night at my house. And I told him, I was like, hey, I will show you. I was like, I'm not supposed to show you anything, but I'm going to show you this one part. And so I was like, told him what was going on. And we were crying, laughing at it. And it was funny. The next day, my wife was like, man, you and Sonny were like real quiet all night. And then all of a sudden, in one moment, y'all just started like laughing like little schoolgirls. And I was like, I know exactly what we were laughing. Like, I know exactly why we laughed.
Oh my God. That's, I got to go watch it now because I've seen that spot so many times
of
now
course.
Editing, right? But I've never noticed that little moment, that little look down. That's funny, man. The whole time were you worried about like, is my penis showing through?
No.
Okay. You knew he was just joking.
And then I saw how my shirt was long.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like it was,
Yeah.
that's why I like checked it or whatever. Like you like watch me look down at this. I even like process is like, should I say something?
Oh.
And it's less than a second, but just,
and that's such a double edge, right? Because I'm so glad you didn't, because I want the recording, for me, I want the recording to be like on topic, right? But also like, God, we did miss out on a moment there. That would have been incredible, like for the moment. But it's like, who knows? It's like maybe that would have amped up the whole rest of your set, or maybe it would have like derailed it to where it's like, crap, I can't get back into it.
I think I don't know. It would have derailed it one.
You never know, right? But that's the beauty of like a live performance of any kind.
Yeah.
You can speculate all day which way that would have went. Yeah. And that's the fun of a comedy show. And like in a club, it wouldn't have mattered if that derailed. That would have killed so hard.
That would have been amazing.
That would have killed so hard.
If it wasn't a recording, it would have been such a great thing to talk about on stage. So then, as the show is going on, my pants are getting looser and looser and baggier. And because I don't have that at first, like like your pants, they first come out of the dryer.
Yeah, they're a little tight.
Yeah. And I had the shorts, so we were good. But I needed a belt for those pants.
Yeah, but the shorts are a little slippery.
Yeah, and so they're starting to like get lower and lower. And there's like a moment where I do like some more act outs, and I'm like, oh, it's when I hit the light.
Yeah,
around the same time that I hit the light, where I was like, I can't.
For people who don't know what it means, if you really want to watch for stupid, dumb details. I had a light on the floor that's shining back on the curtains, several of them. And then there was one, all I said was like, hey, but in the setup, I was like, hey, we're going to have all these here. Are these too close? Like, you think go back into these? They're like, no, I definitely won't. And then I didn't see it till the very final edit, and you just take a little step back and then I just see, because I didn't hear it on the audio or anything. I just see a light shift real fast. And the only reason I even caught it is I was doing a clip after that and I was like, that's weird. There's this like dead space behind them, and I thought we had that lit, but it's like black behind them now. That's weird. And then I was going back looking for different angles, and then I just saw the light just go and slide over, and I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't see that until like our final edit.
Yeah,
I don't know how to."
And you sent me like a screen grab of it, and you thought I would know.
But anyway, so you're backing up, and that's when your pants are falling down. So you kick the light.
Well, yeah, because I moved more than I was anticipating.
Yeah,
and then I was like, "Oh, you can't move too much, man, because you're gonna lose these pants." And so we had like the after party afterwards,
Yeah.
And as that night is like going on, the pants are getting looser and looser to the point to where when we're
You're still
walking,
beltless at the after
yeah,
party?
I'm still beltless with the shorts underneath or whatever. So that was a very interesting
Why
layer.
could Cindy not bring you a belt?
She was gonna go turn around and go home and get it.
Oh, she was already at the venue.
there.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I thought you noticed before she got there.
No, I don't know if she was there yet,
But she was, like,
she was
on the
already.
way, yeah.
I think she was at like that main. It's off of Main Street. She's like
Too
at Main
close.
Street. And the tollway. I was like, do not turn around. I was like, someone, because at that point you was like, I have a belt if you want it. I was like, I have a belt or whatever. I'll be fine. And then once I actually put them over the shorts, I was like, oh, I'm fine. Not thinking about that they just came out of the dryer,
Sure.
and they haven't loosened up. But as they were loosening, I was like, this could be a problem. So I'm like fighting through that. As I'm fighting through someone saying my penis is showing.
Yeah.
I'm fighting through my pants might fall down. So yeah, it
a
was a
good night.
lot.
Don't you think that probably that was also a healthy distraction? So you're not you're now being able to be taken out of it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just enough.
There were a couple of moments, and if you go back and you watch this, that happened that put me at ease. Okay. So I was stressed. I was super stressed by how late we were starting.
Yeah.
It was frustrating the hell out of me.
Well, because we were waiting on people to just show up, right?
Yeah.
They were all, oh, no, you know what it was? They showed up a little late, and then they were all grabbing drinks.
Yes.
That's what it was.
And I was very irritated with the bar because I was like, I told you to close it, whatever.
Yeah.
And they didn't close it. They were
Yeah.
just like, all right, they're keeping it open. And so I was getting frustrated by that stuff, like the logistical things. And then I don't remember who told me, they were like, just don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Like that
Yeah.
stuff. All right. So you're stressed, you're anxious, you want the one thing to go well. And then as I've gotten older, I've gotten way more emotional. Like things that
It's our low testosterone.
yeah, it's like the way, like things that normally wouldn't like touch you emotionally happens. So I'm stressed. The show starts off. I did not want the host or anyone to make people stand up before I did anything.
Oh, yeah.
And so that happened.
And they did that big time.
Yeah, and they did that. And like, I was like, okay. Because that's like,
Why did you not want them to stand?
because I hadn't done anything. I hadn't proved anything yet. So
well,
you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I wanted, anyways.
But if I was going somewhere to see like a musician that I knew, not even comedy, like if a band, I went to go watch a band and they come out on stage, I want to stand up. All right, the thing we're here for.
I know.
Woo,
But
you know?
I just didn't want that pressure of that, right?
Okay.
So I wanted anything that was given to me positively to be earned because I wanted to feel good afterwards. I don't want to be like, well, this was kind of, or whatever. So
next time, no applause.
Yeah.
Sit
No.
quiet. Just
boo me.
Just
No.
steps coming
You
out.
can applaud. I just didn't want to be like, hey, and now you better applaud. Like, I want you to be excited. Okay. So anyway, I go on, I do my first bit, the first
Yeah.
bits, right? And I get that applause break. Well, I start, like, all the stress that I'd have with all the other stuff, didn't have the right pants, didn't get to go to the workout, people texted me, everything like that, all the anxiety, stress that was on my shoulders. With that applause break, I was like, I started to tear up. So if you notice, if you go,
Yeah.
you notice, I do this thing right after that joke, and I turn to the mic stand to like, and I did that on purpose to like
wipe it.
Yeah, like
wipe a quick
I
tear.
didn't-
Don't let them see it yet.
I didn't wipe no tears came, but I stopped and I like gathered myself.
Yeah.
And then also I was like, since I got that applause break on that joke, I was like, oh, this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then from there, it was like, we're good to go.
Yeah. Well, I knew, I mean, somebody's going to be stressed no matter what, right? 'Cause I'm stressed too because, my stress is different. It's like, wow, what if he has an incredible show and then we find out like the hard drive didn't save anything? Like,
Yeah.
like that's mine. But anyway, you have like backups and redundancies and it's like that pressure is different than the on-stage pressure. But, I saw it with Lawrence, but we had such a chaotic start to his that I didn't really talk to Lawrence much before the start of his.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to talk to you before yours either that much, But I was just, I'd walk like Kenny or Danny back to that area and I'd be like, hey, yeah, they're back here. And I just check on you a little bit. And then, I don't remember even what questions you were asking, but it's like the nervous questions start coming out from the performer, right? Because it's like now we're like 30 minutes away or whatever it is. And You know, and it's like I usually just say my like whatever. It's like, look, you worked on this set for this long.
Yeah.
Like if it's terrible, there's nothing we can do about it. You know, like, and if it's most likely going to be good, and if it's not, whatever, we don't have to release anything. It's too late. But you couldn't have put all this work into it and it be just horrific, right? It's going to be good. And this is like a victory lap at this point or something along those lines. And I remember going out to the front, and your wife was there at that point. She's like, "Where is he?" I was like, "He's in the back." And she's like, "How's he doing?" And because I was like, "Well, do you want me to take him?" She's like, "No, I'm going to leave him alone, I think, or something." I was like, "Yeah, that's probably better. He's freaking out." And she's like, I was like, "Oh yeah, like it's real now. He's freaking out. He's going to hit the stage. It's going to be fine." But like, we're in that zone now where you can't turn back, and you could see it on your face, your whole posture. Like, I've been around you enough now. I know when you're pretty relaxed, and you're very like, you were very fidgety, like needed to like lean on things or touch things. I was like, "Oh yeah, boy's nervous, big time."
Well, I think it was the waiting game.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't have. In my mind, I had decided how the night was going to go before the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna go do a workout.
It's all off the rails.
I was going to take a shower. I was going to take like a 30-minute nap. I was going to like reset myself.
Gonna have underwear.
I was going to have underwear and a belt. Okay. And then those things, I didn't even fix my hair. Like,
well, it looked great.
It looks good. Yeah. It was a good haircut. So, shout out to my barber Aurelio. But you know, I was looking at, I was like, I don't have any of these things that I was, you know, like those things.
Yeah.
It's all,
I had a plan.
And all of it's out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even about it wasn't even about the performance at that point. Like I was like, I know once I'll get on stage, everything's going to be fine.
It's the routine. It's the ritual.
Yeah.
The lead up.
Of one, and especially like this is a big one. And then I looked at my phone, which I shouldn't have. I was still getting messages from people like, "What time? You know, hey, I'm almost there." What do you?
Yeah.
Like, there's 200 people.
What do you think I'm doing? Well, like you said, if it were a wedding, would you be texting the bride or groom?
Yeah.
Be like, "Hey, man, just pulled up."
Yeah, just parking.
Pulled up. Where you at?
Hey, man, running a few minutes late. What?
Need me to grab chips or something?
Yeah. What is it? Like, what do you mean? You think I care?
Yeah.
You know. And then there also wasn't a spot, since the way that we did it. I couldn't come from backstage.
Oh yeah, because we ran all these cables and wires through the back hallways. Yeah.
So there really wasn't a spot to really hang out,
Mm-hmm.
because even like the green room area back there is like pitch black.
Yeah.
It wasn't relaxing or anything like that.
And it's just close enough to the stage that it's not like you can relax and make noise. Like you're kind of quiet still. Like they probably can't hear you, but you're not sure.
Yeah, and I was just cranking out push-ups. Like I was just back there just doing push-ups. And then the lady was Ashley was texting me. She's like, "We have this many people in. We have that," and then she's like, "Hey, what do you want me to do about your pre-show music or whatever, because it's going to run out of time?" I was like, well, what time are we starting? She told me the time. I was like, well, just push back like 4 times on the songs. I don't want you to play this crap music. Because then the other music started playing. I was like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Like I was like, like all this like things that don't matter.
Yes.
For the recording, but for what I had prepared in my mind.
Like just put it back at the beginning.
Yeah, just like I had this timed out perfectly.
These people aren't going to know the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, no one's listening to the music.
Yeah, just hit it.
No one's listening to it, but it's very important you get it right.
Text me, but don't text me. Why are you texting me?
Yeah,
it was those things that were like amping me up, that were stressing me out. It wasn't the performance part, but then like getting that applause break on the first joke
smoothed it out.
I was like, it smoothed it out, but then also made me emotional.
I'm here.
I'm doing it. We did it.
Right. Oh, what a fun ride, man. Yeah. I really hate that pressure of the night of, but God, I love it. It's so much fun to because you feel like we're doing something.
Yeah.
And it's like this is, I don't know, it's just exciting. The I just, the stress for me when I'm watching the show, like I can't even enjoy your show when I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like I get to hear some jokes. I'm constantly looking around, but one thing I don't know how you ever overcome it, and I don't know how these people who do big budget recordings overcome it, is just the like the people who just need to go to the bathroom and get a drink or whatever, and they're constantly just walking across in front of cameras. And I have so many clips of these people who are trying to be incredibly polite. They're like ducking way down, but it's like, no, I just have you in the full frame. I have all of you ducking down. Like, and they're trying to be polite, but you just see the shadows constantly going across. And so, when you're watching the show, it's like there's a couple people. It's like, okay, so you've gone to the bathroom 3 times during this set, or you've gone wherever 3 times in this set.
And it wasn't that long.
No, and it's like you couldn't have just held for 10 more minutes or whatever it was, And again, you don't want to be rude. It's like, thank you for coming to the show. We really appreciate this. But I'm just watching them, and now I'm getting angry. I'm like, just you again? You're going again, and it's like, it's out of your control. But that's also the fun of it. I mean, you've done so much in theater. It's like anything happens, and you just. I think before we did Lawrence's, I'd done enough projects where nothing's going to go 100% as planned. And so you just start looking for like, okay, well, what's the thing that's going to happen that we didn't plan for? And you go, all right, great. There. So like in your situation, it's like, great, no underwear, no belt. All right, we got that out of the way. That was the big thing we had to worry about. And I mean, thankfully this time on my part, we didn't have anything crazy. I just didn't like the lights when we initially set them up. So we switch them a little bit. Yeah. It's like real minor stuff. But I don't know. It is fun, like that little bit of problem solving you always have to do on every single thing.
Yeah, so I get weird on shows where I know a good portion of the audience.
Yeah.
And it comes from my
because they're really judging you.
Well, it comes from my theater background of that I don't really want, like, you don't interact with a crowd before play because you're playing there's an illusion that's going on. There's a fake world that we're all going to go into. You know what I mean? Like we're going to go in this fantasy land for a little bit for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So if I'm sitting out talking to the crowd before that, that's weird.
Very.
Right? So from that aspect of the type of performance that I did my entire life, you don't interact with the crowd. You're backstage, whatever like that. Some shows you don't even see them afterwards until you're like fully out of costume. It just depends on what the production, the company that you're working for, your director, how they want you to do things. Yeah. They won't let you, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a whole thing. I mean, that's really pretentious that you need to whatever, right? To each their own. So if I'm in some random town where they don't know who I am, that I can just blend in.
Yeah, the illusion's already there for you.
Yeah, they don't know who I am. They maybe never even seen a picture of me. They don't know who I am, so I can just kind of blend in.
Yeah.
Whereas at a show where I know a good portion of the people, that are there on a personal level, I don't want to be making small talk. So the last thing I wanted was to just be out and about with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I can't remember. Did you just hide out in the back?
I did for most of the time, but then eventually I had to come out front because that's how we entered. We entered through.
But did you go out the back around front?
Yes. Okay. I went out the little
garage door.
I went out of the loading dock, but then their only bathroom is in the lobby.
Oh, that's right.
So I had to go to the restroom at this point because I remember I didn't get to go home and shower. So I had to go to the restroom and I wanted to like look at my hair, So I wanted to like look at myself before I went on stage, and which NAC Theater, amazing things, but put a mirror in the green room, something, like something for you to get ready. That's my only complaint. But so I went all the way around, and then it was a late arrival crowd. So
they're there.
It's like 7:15 where I was like, I'm probably safe to come out now.
And the men's bathroom was right next to the bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm essentially just like seeing all these people, and most people were pretty cool about like, obviously he's not here to like chit chat with me, but some people were like, hey, what's cool, man? Long time no see. Like, like we can do this after.
What jokes are you telling?
Yeah, hey man, what's up? You ready, big guy? All right, and it's like, and they're all coming from a nice place.
Hey, why aren't you wearing a belt?
Yeah, hey, dude, do you have underwear on? Is that your penis? So it was just like those were the things that you were seeing on me was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Of just like I don't like I'm nervous.
It's always something. It's fun. It's fun, right?
It was fun. I was so glad when it was not over, but it was just a relief for it to be.
Yeah. I don't think I was relieved until it was uploaded to YouTube.
Because it was different for you.
Yeah, that was my go time is now.
Yes.
Now we've got it. Don't screw it up.
Yeah. That's what my wife said. She's like, I feel like the night of the show was for you, and then the release was for Travis.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like it was your night of the show was your shine time, and now it's time for Travis to shine.
Yeah. It's a weird little thing. You know what yours showed me is I just dream of the day where I have enough of a budget for I had a crew like Chris and Niaz helped out, and that was like indispensable. Like the amount of time they save me by just, and I can trust both of them. You know what I mean? If I say something, they do it, and they don't mess things up. If they have a question, they come. But having a crew in the sense of like a front of house manager who can just be like, hey, Michael, listen, they're seating some people right now. I told them, go ahead and bump your playlist back a little bit. Everything's on track. We're just going to start like maybe 15 minutes later. Okay. Yeah. Like that kind of stuff. So where we're not doing those little things.
Yeah.
And just hiring people for like, it's like, did you have a wedding planner for your wedding? Y'all got married young, right?
Yeah. 24 and 26.
Yeah.
So, we did have someone the day of.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We didn't have anyone like coordinating it to plan it, but the day of we had one of my sister's friends like going around and doing everything.
Yeah, go here. We're doing pictures here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think about it. And it's like, I want to do all the prep work leading up to it. And then I just want enough of a crew where I'm like, yeah, move that light to the left. Like,
yeah.
And I can just point at things.
I will say this, Niaz, he was, obviously incredibly helpful for what you guys were doing. But once it became almost showtime, he became my voice. Like he was organizing all the other comics.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like he was like, hey, I'm going to, I don't know if it was his idea or my idea.
Yeah.
Someone's idea. I don't know who it was, but he did it.
It's probably a little, it's probably in him now from running all those Cowabunga shows too. You know,
he's like, hey,
probably
I'll
kicking
just
into producer mode.
Like, I'll just talk to everybody, like tell them where to come meet you, and when to go on, do this, and not to come, that we're going to go through the house instead of the backstage. And I was like, thank you, because that's a lot of things that you're not thinking of, and you just want to perform at that point. You don't want to have to also, because of course I booked the openers, so I've been their point of contact up until then.
Yeah,
Well,
and I don't know that any of them have been on a show that we're recording, so it's new for everyone who's on the show. There's these little rules you don't think about. It's like, normally it would make a lot of sense that we would come from the curtain through here, but it's like, I'm not risking the curtain being open or like you pulling it weird and it falls forward on the crowd or something. Like,
absolutely. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, we weighted it down with sandbags, but like if your foot gets hung up and you trip or something and it pulls everything down. I can't do this tonight. And so to be like, so just go like under the half garage door and around the front.
Well, it was so funny too, because the garage door would, I kept leaving it open so that people could come through, but someone kept closing it all the time. Yeah. So every now and then, every time a new person would come back, I kind of would jump a little bit because you just hear this like, whatever.
Yeah.
And so that was an interesting thing too. But hey, Kenny Lee and Danny Tran, they set the stage perfectly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were great to have on the show.
It felt weird putting them in the end credits because you're not watching them perform, but it was just like, no, I just wish y'all were there because the lead up is so important.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're good, they're pros, I've watched them perform. Like when you were telling me who you were going to go with, I was like, oh, they're great. That's going to be perfect. But still, you still wonder the day of, like, is somebody going to try to grandstand rather than set up the show?
Yeah.
Right? And of course they don't, but it's all the little devious thoughts in your mind of everything that could sabotage this whole thing. But yeah, they do such a good job. You're like, I got to put them in there. Just if this thing blows up, I just want people knowing they were involved. And like that's such a big part of making the night work so well.
Well, and that's a normal thing that people will put the warm-up act in
I didn't
the
know
credits.
that. Okay, that's good.
It's super normal that people will put it. You even added pictures of them, so that was great too. I don't know if they'll always will put a picture of them, but yeah, I mean that's a normal thing to credit them, like warm up act, however they usually call it, and they did great. It made the feedback that I got for the entire night was everybody enjoyed the entire thing, and you don't always get that.
Yeah,
oftentimes sometimes you come like people, it's like, well, you didn't need to tell me you didn't like whoever like that. No one needed to hear that. You know what I mean? But they'll tell you if they didn't like something. So everyone had positive things to say about everything. And so it was just it was a good night. I told my wife the next day, because I had two goals going into the live show. I wanted to sell it out, which we did. And I wanted what?
Sorry, I don't mean to, I was in my mind, I was just, waiting for you to be like, so I wanted to make sure they could see my penis.
Yeah. I wanted to sell it out, and I wanted my dick out. I wanted to.
I wanted them to see it through the jeans.
Yeah,
No, I'm so sorry. You had two things you wanted to say.
And I wanted a genuine standing ovation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't want like me to sit there and be like, egg, like my hand, like oh, what's up, like
we're filming
it.
this.
Yeah.
Come on,
I'm milking it. Like I linger for a long time or whatever, and we got one.
Yeah,
it like instantly. So it was like I said my name or whatever, and like people shot up, and so I told my wife the next day. I was like, I don't want this to be the pinnacle of my stand-up career. I was like, but if last night was, I think I can be happy with it.
There you go.
And I'm not someone that usually is happy with a lot of the stuff that I do. I always want more, which is a positive attribute, but it's also a detrimental attribute, right?
Yeah.
And so I told her that, but then that quickly faded in like 3 weeks where I was like, I need this to happen. I need that.
Yeah, I mean, but like any creative field, that's really what you're doing. You're going to have a win for a moment. And you got to bask in that moment as long as you can, and then it's on to the it's back to being like, I'm a hack. We got to work on something better now.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I felt like, God, I mean, you've said it before, but I think we originally talked about recording something. It was like 4 years ago or something, and we were like looking at that spot out in Carrollton.
Yeah, it was 2021.
Okay, it's 2021, and things just weren't syncing up, and the older version of me would have been looking to force something like, hey, man, are you going to record this or not? Like, I would have been more pushy.
Yeah.
And, it's like, I guess with age and like having a wife and kids now, it's like you're learning more patience where it's like, no, like whether you're religious or not, it's like it's God or the universe. It's like it's going to come together the way it needs to come together, And then you told me, you're like, yeah, I'm actually going to record this open bar thing, and I'm going to like retire this material that way so I can work on this material. And it's like, all right, well, there you go. It's kind of lining up. We'll see what happens, blah, blah, blah. And, I knew you'd worked on it for a long time, and so it's nice to hear that you felt like it was at least like a culmination, and it's like, okay, we packaged it the way I wanted to, and it's done. And it's like, okay, now if 1 million people watch it or they don't, it doesn't matter, because at least it's, you can look back on it and go, the set is complete.
Yeah.
You're a comic, so you'll always wish you changed something here and there, or stumbled on my word on this part.
Instead of TCA.
I forgot about that. That was the only part in the show I cringed so hard for you. I'm so sorry that there's no way to change it. If you want another Easter egg, what did you say, TCA?
TCA instead of TSA.
TSA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the moment, when I heard it, I think I looked right over at Neos. He was sitting next to me, and I was like, he meant TSA.
Yeah.
Shh, dang. And he's like, well, he's like, you going to cut it out? I was like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Right?
Yeah. But I think
just,
anybody watching it, like, you get.
They know what I'm saying.
Well, and I think the average person, you probably don't even hear it at first.
For sure.
And then,
I'm saying two of the three letters correct, and sometimes your mind will trick you on that.
Yeah. At least that's what we're going to tell ourselves.
Well, and then there was that, and I accidentally said shit.
Yeah, well, we were able to pull that out.
I know, but for your audience, they might. I wanted to do a 100% clean set. Mm-hmm. And on the idea of not going off script, like when I didn't talk about my penis being shown in the text message, I ad-libbed something that happened that I had never said before, and it caused me to cuss. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and what's funny about that is, when it happened, I knew it happened instantly that I said shit, and then I almost dropped an F-bomb. Like I almost was like, like in my mind, I almost was like,
I mean, hearing yourself say that now, I mean, does it make you think, I just have to get better at ad-libbing, or does it reinforce, like if you're recording something, stick to the script?
Stick to the script 100%. I mean, because here was the problem that I was running into, is that I kept coming up with like new tags and stuff. And so, you know what I mean? Because you're just sitting there and you're thinking about it. It's not the entire buildup was it on my mind all the time, but those last 4 weeks, it pretty much, once we sold all the tickets, especially, the only thing I was thinking about whenever it was like the house was quiet and I had nothing to do and it was like, you're about to lay down for bed or whatever and you can't sleep. My mind was just racing, thinking of my set. Okay, how is this going to happen? Okay, when I enter the stage, what's going to go on with this? So I kept adding like tags, like the clip that we put out last week where my mom, the Louisiana, the part where I'm like,
she overcomes
the Lincoln Park joke or whatever.
Oh,
and
yes.
And then I'm talking about, my mom overcoming a Louisiana education. We record on Saturday. I wrote that on Thursday.
Ooh, that's crazy. And that got such a good laugh.
Yeah,
too.
I knew it would because I just thought of it.
I would have thought that was something you'd put in there for a while.
Because I thought
That's
about
so
it.
fun.
I was like, because I kind of started thinking, I was like, I'm not really, when I wrote this material, it kind of turned into something different than I thought it was going to be. But as I started thinking about it, I was like, this is kind of like a love letter to my dad and to both my parents. And so I started thinking, I was like, I don't really have a lot about my mom. And I wanted to put a part in there where, like, yes, my dad has like the on paper cooler story because it's like he immigrated here, he did this and everything like that. But what story usually isn't told if it's a family like mine is that my mother was working all these jobs while my dad was going through college. So it's like it was a team effort, you know what I mean? But that's not the story that you know what I mean? So I was like, I want to make sure I put that in here.
Yeah.
That yes, that my dad overcame, not knowing the language and having not a support system and everything like that. But he did have a wife that, worked a normal 9 to 5 and then went and sold some MLM thing so that they could have this and this and that so that he could go to college and they could put food on the table. You know what I mean? And I wanted to make sure that was said. And then I was like, but I also need to make that funny too. Like, I don't want to just say my mom did this. So I was like, okay, well, how can I make that funny? Yeah, she did that by having, and also while having this educate, from Louisiana. Like
A bunch of your material, because again, I didn't hear it until the night of. That's my first time watching the set as well. And I was very curious how some of the premises, like, I'm not like I'm not a comedian. I'm not like a comedy guru or anything, but it's like I've watched enough now that I feel like, okay, I can see where something's going a little bit. I got an idea of what we're doing here. And I was very curious if that crowd was going to hear that material and think, like, you're walking a line of like telling the story without trying to add on this emphasis that isn't there in the sense of like being like preachy or something, right? Because it would be very easy to be like, she's a strong, powerful, independent woman, and like you're trying to hit it from this feminist angle.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that though. It's a team thing that's happening here. But so many other people would probably try to spin it that way, right? Or like really, like you're talking about what your parents overcame to how it's coming into your story, not like the struggle of this and everything. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
where it's like,
because
if Disney was making this movie, we would have leaned so heavy on that crap.
One time I wrote a post about the Colin Kaepernick kneeling thing. Okay. And I wrote this thing about how, and essentially what it was, that if you've never been judged by people for like how you look or how something you cannot help, it might be hard for you to understand. And that's all it was.
Yeah.
So I was trying to use this, my situation.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, if you've never had like a significant, like a girlfriend or boyfriend's parents not want them to date you just because you're not from blah, 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 blah. You might, and I'm saying all these different things. Well, I wasn't trying to compare myself to, because I wasn't a little bit, I wasn't trying to say that my life was anything like terrible.
Right.
But some of the comments I got in there was like, I watched him over. Well, hold on. No. And then I even kind of put that, like, appreciate some of the nice things that some of you guys said about it. Let's be real. Had a very cush life. My life was very cush.
Yeah.
Right? I did not, like, I was not oppressed or anything like that. Like, I want you guys to understand that's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is like, even the small amount that I experienced, it allows me to understand and empathize with what someone could be going through.
Yeah.
Not saying that that's what happened to me.
And it's even if you agree or disagree, it's more about like, oh, I think I understand where they're coming from.
Yes.
You know what? I'll give you a more extreme example that I felt something like that. my son, who's 6 now, when he was born, he was one of the babies who's like textbook, like up all night crying. He's up like every hour and a half. He's got what do they call it when babies?
Colic?
Yeah, they call it colic, which is like, what does that even mean? They cry a lot. Okay, great. He's going through like ear infections, and he was one of those like it was hard even soothing him and getting him down. And this lasted for like 6 months, that we're doing this. So now you and your wife, me and my wife, we're arguing over mundane nonsense because you're sleep deprived. We're first parents. It's during COVID. We're freaking out about like, are we going to give a virus to our kid? This was before like pre-vaccine and stuff. So we don't know how dangerous this stuff is. You just see like, over in Italy, everyone's dying. So anyway, he's crying. We have, good, stable, middle-class incomes. We have a home. We have family around. We are still married, so we're each other's support system. And there was one night he's just crying and crying. I'm like changing a diaper or something, and it's like, I don't know how your kids were if you had one that cried a lot, but it's like any annoying sound, right? If you just hear a car alarm forever, it's just at some point it's so piercing, you can't. I was putting in earplugs changing diapers because I couldn't stand to hear it anymore, And I was like, there was a moment where I stepped back. He's still crying, and I was like, whoa. I was like, this is it. This is the moment. If you didn't have the income we have, if you didn't have a steady spouse to support with or family around or something, or you just had all these stresses, like this is the moment they shake the baby.
Yeah.
This is it. This is when you snap. And it's like, okay, I'm not saying you should, it's not like, oh, it's justified, right?
Yeah.
But you're just like, before I was a parent, I was like, what monster would ever? And now you're going like, okay, I don't condone it, but I 100% understand now, like if you were the fast food working single parent and like things just aren't going your way and you can't even get any sleep and this is this moment you snap.
Well,
and so it's like I can understand how it's like whether I agree with you or not, I at least totally understand how this gets to this point now.
It's like on that same token, it's kind of like how like if someone like a parent does something like negligent, and you're like how people like, how could that happen?
Yeah.
Right? Well, when my second child was born, she didn't sleep as well as my first child did. And so my wife and I didn't get any sleep for months.
Okay, yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
It was like, it was sleep where, so anyways, so I'm tired. We also have a toddler on top of it. I just got like my first management role. So I've got all these things going on. And there was this day where I was going to pick them up from daycare on my way. And I was at a major intersection, an underpass, and at the stoplight, fell asleep.
Ooh, yeah.
I woke up. I don't know how long I was asleep for.
Yeah.
I woke up, and like I was in traffic when I fell asleep. And when I woke up at that light, nobody was around me. Not a single person. So I don't know how long.
So it's at least 5 or 10 seconds for those cars to clear.
I don't know how long it was. And I was like, oh, that's how somebody like makes the mistake. And it was like at 5 p.m. It wasn't, in the middle of the night or anything like that. I was so worn out, tired. So anyways, like, so like with the material, I didn't want it to be like, woe is me.
Yeah.
But what I did want to show was that there were things that this conflict almost that I had, it played a part in like a weirdness or an awkwardness that I felt that honestly, I don't think I really understood until I was 25, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And it was, so this material in a way was kind of like therapeutic to me a little bit, And it's like what you talked about, how when we talked about this 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to call the special 5 years ago. And I knew that I wanted the namesake joke in there. But if we would have done it back then, it just would have been a bunch of random material with that joke in there.
Yeah.
And so I am super glad that we waited, because I didn't have all the material that was in that show until, I mean, heck, I wrote a joke on Thursday.
Right.
But until I was working on it that 14, 18 months, I think the summer of 2024, I finished writing the bulk of it. the main like maybe 30-ish plus minutes of it.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started working on it and then adding things to it and pulling things to it. But even it evolved so much over that 14 months because I wanted it to all tie together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did that.
No, it tied together great. The like we were talking about it not being like heavy and preachy. That was one thing I noticed, especially through the editing. I didn't realize it so much in the live show because I wasn't focused, but it's like you would tiptoe up, and I was thinking like, here we go. Here's the like, and that's the problem with America or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
of course, right?
Something.
Like how I could have done it, right? Like,
yeah, whatever. And then it circled way back right into just silly, and I was like, God, that's fun. It's fun because I was wondering, how people would take it. You never know, right? How the internet's going to see things. Because, like, we've only gotten, like, a few weird comments where it's like, I bet you're actually like this or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, on some of the clips.
Yeah. Which is like, whatever, I don't give a shit. But, like, one of the moments, actually right up top, it's like I was very surprised when I was editing at how much that crowd liked the opening bits of my dad's Iranian, my mom's from Louisiana. My dad's from Iran, my mom's from Louisiana. Because the punchlines of those, you could tie in your own political beliefs, but it's like by this time you should have watched the special. Go watch it anyway. But
why haven't you watched it?
What's first? The third tag? I've edited it so much. It's the third one is part of me thinks the election was stolen.
Yeah.
And part of me and the other part of me created the software to steal the election.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about that, like when I got to really think about it after editing, was how like in both of them, you're agreeing that like the election was stolen. So if you're a more liberal person, you could be like, what the hell was that? But it is just funny and silly rather than being like, so I'm up here to talk to you about how I think the election was stolen.
Well,
right?
in all honesty, the first part is me like being like, and these part of me like are these crazies that think the election was stolen, right?
Yeah.
And because I don't think the election was stolen, but you know what I mean? So
yeah, but I like the way it's phrased where it's like we're never resolving what your political beliefs are.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you, but I feel like that if you watch my set, you should know pretty much where I
think we think that, right? But here's what I like, because the whole thing is about your blended feathers, right?
Yeah.
Part of that is like, it's like when you have a mixed background here in Texas, but you're from Plano, Texas or Carrollton, Texas, and you have a Texas accent. Like to us, I think we here in Texas can quickly figure out a lot about you through that. But I think somebody watching in a different state, I think it is still like, when you see somebody who's got any kind of ethnic feature, but they have like a Texas accent, I think that still throws people off sometimes.
For sure.
And so I don't think someone outside of our immediate area knows 100% like your political beliefs by the time they finish that.
Well, and
which I think is fine. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
It should be that way.
What's fun about it is I did another podcast a couple of weeks ago where we broke down those jokes.
Yeah. What was that one? I liked that podcast.
The Funny Muscle podcast with Mike Lucas.
Yeah, that was a great episode. Y'all should check that out.
And we broke down what he did was because he's a comedy
I liked his
writer.
style. I listened to the whole episode.
Yeah.
I loved his style of pulling your jokes and talking to you about it more in depth.
Because he's a comedy coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a writer. He's an author about comedy. He teaches people how to write jokes.
Yeah.
So what he did was he broke down a handful of the jokes from it. And so he asked me in there, he's like, it was interesting. He's like, that you got a laugh on both sides of it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, does that always happen? And I told him I was like, kind of. I was like, but in other areas, like very rural areas, the one like where I say, half of me doesn't think science is real.
Yeah.
Or whatever. They don't get it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah, of course it's not real. Or whatever. Whatever. I don't know that they understand what the joke is, right? So it does. I think why it works, especially in our area, is because there are so many people that are centralist.
Yeah. I mean, people want to paint North Texas, all of Texas, but they want to paint it as this like, oh, they're all of them are this far extreme, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not. And especially areas like Frisco, Plano, like some comic recently, I saw a clip or something, or maybe it was on a podcast. They were talking about Plano being like, this white crowd. And I was like, have you ever been to Plano, Texas?
Yeah.
Because when I was going to Plano, Texas in like 2001, that was already a huge mixed community. And we're talking 20 years later, that is a wildly diverse city. And, it's like, so even somebody living here was trying to say like, oh, I know this is the white part of town. And it's like, what? What are you Plano? Not Plano. What
There's
are you talking
parts
about?
of Plano though that are pretty white.
Yeah, but
and
I'm
that's
just saying
why-
the city of Plano. And but these stereotypes of Texas kind of being like all the way one direction. And it's like, no. Most of our there's some wacko religious whatever, but that's every kind of place, The core of the people here, it's like, yeah, they've got their right-wing beliefs, but when you go have a real conversation with them, they're pretty central.
Yeah.
It's like their right-wing beliefs end up being more of like, well, I like this and the left isn't doing that. So I'm going right.
Yeah. And for me and my life of politics, I've voted for everything.
Same.
Like I've bounced back and forth. I would say that I'm pretty center and kind of now lean a little bit more left than I used to be like super conservative.
Yeah.
But that changes. Like things change to where you're looking at and I don't think I was super conservative. I think I was just it's a different party now. So there was there were things that I look at now where I'm like, well, that's not even the conservatives aren't even what conservatives were 20 years ago. So that's where it's
I think the parties are flipping, but I think it's all chaos right now.
Yeah, it's funny is
it's chaos.
I have a buddy like that has said said that before. He goes, you remember all the people that when we were in college 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, that were like, I'm out there, I'm unique, and they'd have like the coexist. He's like, those were all liberals.
Yep.
He's like, all those people are conservatives now. And it's not because they've changed how they think, but now the conservatives are the ones that are like, we're RFK and we're not gonna believe in medicine. Like that was what the hippies and like or whatever that were like.
I'm that example. I'm turning more conservative without trying to be conservative.
Yeah,
like I'm sitting here having conversations like we were talking about. I'm having health issues that I'm trying to figure out, and it's like, do I love everything that the right says? No, but I don't love everything the left says either. But like right now. Like RFK is a great example. It's like, I would love to know if my strawberries are just strawberries, right? Like, are we putting chemicals in the strawberries? What are we doing to them? And if I eat them, am I going to be okay? And that would have been in the 60s. That was like a hippie thing. Like, we just want to grow natural food, man.
That's a liberal thing.
We just, and they just be like, dude, these farms, like, what, you got to trust these things.
Dude, and
now that's a conservative issue.
That wasn't even a 60s thing.
Right.
That was 2010
I know. You would
like,
if
Michelle
if I was
Obama-
like, yeah, dude, I'm really thinking about getting like a chicken coop and growing some of my own food, that would have been like, are you in one of those like liberal cults?
Yes.
Like, are you is somebody taking you to their compound?
Yeah.
And now that's all. Like, I never thought I'd see liberals defending like big pharma and processed foods.
Yes, because think about,
and that's a thing that's happening now.
15 years ago. When Michelle Obama was like, I want to change the things that were going into our kids'
school lunches,
they were like, you can't tell us what not to, or whatever. And it's like, now it's flipped. And so it doesn't make, so I,
what it was then? It was the hatred for Obama.
Yes.
And I'm not saying you should love or hate Obama or love or hate Trump. Believe what you want to believe. I don't care. But you can't deny that the hatred for Obama back then, just like the hatred for Trump now, is skewing everyone's beliefs, right? Like, if you hate Trump, then if RFK comes out and says like, hey, I really want to make sure that our medicines that we're taking are gone through this rigorous testing so that we know when we put that pill in our mouth, that's what it is. Or the same thing with our food, right? That's something like any American should be like, yes, we want food and medicine to be pure, right? But he's aligned with Trump. So you naturally are just like, I don't want to hear anything he wants to say. And that's crazy, right? As an adult, you should always at least listen and then decide if you like that or not. And then with Obama, it's like when they lost their mind that he wore a tan suit.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. And it's like, that's also crazy, you guys. Like,
everything is crazy, and it's because everything is tribalism now.
100%.
And I call it, everything is OU versus Texas.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I went to OU, so we hate Texas.
It feels
right?
to me, it feels like losers who don't have like you do enjoy watching OU still, right?
Yeah.
So you're less likely to care about politics on that OU level. You're more likely to be like, what are they doing? I like that. Or what are they doing? Oh, that sounds weird.
Yeah.
But when you don't have like a real hobby, a real thing that you love, all of a sudden politics is your hobby. And that's like a really loser thing to be like so obsessed. Like, no, I'm red, I'm blue, like whatever it is. Like, that's wild because it's all a bunch of people who can make mistakes at any moment.
Yeah.
You know, like why would you put all your faith in a group of people you know nothing about when there's so much on the line?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like I like some of the stuff I'm hearing from people like RFK, but I like some of the stuff I'm hearing from Democrats too. And it's like the way America works, you're supposed to blend all that together, right? Take the best ideas.
That was the whole point of it,
Yeah.
right? That was the whole, like, the reason why, America was supposed to work is because we were this melting pot, that it was supposed to be all, like, I mean, we're only 250 years old.
Yeah.
So all of our traditions are blended feathers. Like, it's all just this blended stuff, this melting pot that came together. And that's what made us so great,
Yeah.
that we all just kind of, we had differences, but we kind of just coexisted together, and we learned from each other, and we took some of people, like, some of the traditions that people did. But now it's turned into where it's like us versus them,
Yeah.
all the time. And it's so silly. And I don't know what the flip was on that.
Yeah.
And it's stupid.
The flip is like part of the reason we're all thinking we're switching political beliefs right now when we're not is because you're constantly being played by these giant, and I don't mean like your small businesses, your giant corporations that own other corporations that control all of our stuff. All they're doing is trying to play us constantly to sell more things to us.
Well,
that's
and
it.
All the political parties do is they pick a topic that aligns with whatever political party you are, and they just talk about that, and then people will like I used to.
And their bigger goal is fundraising, right?
Yeah.
If I can get you scared about this topic, all the classics, right? Gun control, abortion, whichever side you're on. I'm scared they're going to take it away. I'm scared they're going to make it legal.
It's like
all they're doing is like how many text messages and emails like, hey, we're fundraising, we're bringing it. It's like, okay, so you guys just want all of our money.
Yeah.
How many of you politicians are worth hundreds of millions of dollars when you're not supposed to be?
Like today I was walking into the gym for my daughter's basketball game, and this man in front of me was wearing a shirt, and the back of it said, you better not put your paws on my guns. And I'm like, nobody is trying to take anyone's guns. Like that's the problem. It's like all, I mean, I'm sure not nobody. There are people out there.
There are some people who want to,
but a lot of times when people are saying like, hey, can we just get like your ID checked? That's not them trying to take your guns away.
Yeah.
Right. But a smart, good marketing politician will put it in your mind that if you vote for that person, they will literally come to your house and rip your guns away from you. Right. And it's the same. So that's like, I used to want to make this documentary. It would take about 10 years to do, but it was where you would follow a person that maybe they're on like a local level politics or whatever, and have them shift which party they run for each time, and have them only talk about a hot button issue. And that's the only thing they run on. So like if they're a Republican, they talk about abortion.
Yeah.
If they're a Democrat, they talk about legalizing weed, whatever it is, right? That's something that's near and dear to each party, and just have them only talk about that and just keep constantly flip-flop and see if they get elected.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just because it's literally what people do. I mean, Donald Trump, I don't like him at all, so I'll be honest with that. I mean, sometimes he has some ideas that I'm like, okay, I can see that because I'm not a crazy person.
I'll say this. He'll do something where I'm like, okay, I like that. And then like
he wanted to do something with credit cards where where they could only give you, like that's
he was going to
I'm on
reduce the
maximum amount of interest rates they could put on it, right?
We were going to reduce the rates for like a certain amount of time to help people catch up on credit card debt. And it's like, look, part of me thinks there's probably a hidden agenda that I don't understand. But at the same time, an American citizen's going to benefit from that. Let's roll the dice, right? But then a tweet will come out where it's like, who was the guy who passed away? And he was like, he had Trump derangement syndrome or something.
I don't remember.
There was a famous actor that passed away, and it was like, who knows what he actually was, but it was like, loser so and so who had this derangement syndrome, blah blah blah, is gone, and blah, and it's like, right when I liked one of your things, you got to go back to that. And I'm like, Jesus.
Because here's the thing about him is that he convinced millions upon millions of Christians to believe that he is a person that they should follow. Like that this is a man of faith. This is an ideal Christian man just because he said abortion should be legal.
Well, but that goes back to just...
Because he's a good marketer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He knows what like, that's what I tell some people. Like, I don't like him at all, and he really makes me mad a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But then I start to think about it, and I was like, I don't think he really believes... not all of the stuff he says, but some of it he doesn't believe it. He just knows what he's playing.
Well, go watch the old I feel like I understand his system now, right? Like if you go watch the old Apprentice stuff, look, he's an old school negotiator in the sense of like he thinks you have to come in, say something wild, like I want $100 million when you're really only trying to get 10. You know, he thinks you got to really those old school negotiation tactics. And in his mind, it's like, yeah, that person knows I'm full of shit and I don't want 100 million.
Yeah, but the difference is he's no longer on a reality show and he's running a country.
I know.
He's got to be able to like.
I know, but he's using that same tactic. So like with Ron, when he put out those tweets where it's like, if this doesn't happen, we're going to see the end of a civilization.
Yeah.
It's like when I see that, I don't think, oh God, we're going to, it's like, okay, yeah, that's his like way over the top. We're definitely not dropping like nukes on something.
But the difference is that, okay,
but the average person doesn't see that.
Yeah. And you are a leader and you can't do those things.
I know
that's what, like,
it's
I can
wild.
control, like, I will talk differently off of these microphones than I will on I can control myself and I'm a low-level stand-up comedian.
I understand.
You know what I mean? And you are the leader of the free world, and you can't control yourself. That's the problem. But you know what?
You know what? I'll say it like this, though. I agree with you, yes. But I think about, like, you know, okay, if I were sitting down in a room talking to Trump and giving him my thoughts, right? Like, if he was open to hearing my opinion and we were expressing that, what you just said, in a respectful way, right? And we made good points. If I go into his mind, if I'm Trump, right? Like, I don't think his election was stolen. I think he won fair and square. Like, especially the first election when he went to all those states that the Democrats thought they had locked down.
Yeah.
And he flipped them. He
'cause
proved that, like, you need to go visit your constituents to lock in those votes.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever locked in, right? And he was able to convince them, look, they're not here, I'm here. And you can love that, hate that, whatever.
He won in 16 and 2024.
Yeah.
He won because he ran a better campaign
There you
in
go.
both those years. Because the Democrats, especially 2024, I don't really remember 2016 that much because it's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I do remember the 2024 campaign. And while he sat there and talked about what he was going to do, and all they did was bash him.
Right.
They never said, like, hey, it was a terrible campaign.
Terrible campaign.
They didn't.
And
do
again, for a candidate that you did not hold primaries for, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So think about that, right? Like, they said after he got, you know, voted out by Biden that he'd never be president again. He comes back and does it again, right? And then think about his whole life. Like, people are just making fun of him like he's this goofy real estate tycoon, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, he has achieved all these things and has become the president. So your mind and his mind, right? Why on earth would I listen to these people that are telling me to do it this other way?
He's not going to listen to anybody.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't I tweet? Tweeting got me here. Why wouldn't I talk in this crazy way? That's what got me here.
Yeah.
These losers don't know what they're talking about. They're not president, you know? And so it's like, I agree with you. It's like, I would much rather have someone who can take a beat, write it up, you know, run it through AI for a moment, touch it, you know, like, get you know, the old days when you had somebody like proofreading a speech for you before you went out, or like, I don't want someone to write all of your stuff, but I would like you to, you know, reel it in. Like, I love hearing the Obama speeches from his day. It's like, God, that sounds like a president.
Yes, and that's the
sounds like an American president, what you want it to sound like, you know.
He just speaks off the top of his head and then says like terrible things about people.
Pretty
to where
wild.
it's like, you know, like, I don't know if you've ever seen his rant about dyslexic people.
No,
and it's just, he goes on and on. I was like, both, you know, like, kids that are growing up with dyslexia should not hear the leader of their country essentially call them all stupid. Like, they don't need to hear, and that's absurd. And that's why, to me, I am so anti him, because it's not so much policies or anything, that it's just that he's not a decent human being. And I don't want, you know what I mean? And my thing is that like how we said, like the Democrats ran a terrible election. They kept talking about January 6th. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't care. They've proven the people that voted for Donald Trump do not care about that.
Right.
So stop talking about it. That's not something, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the biggest, man, what's her name? I got to look her up. If this, is it Sophie? Man, there's a Canadian stand-up comic who works, she's becoming more famous around here. What is her name? Sophie Buttle. You ever seen her before? She's got maybe one of the best jokes about Democrats because she's like, I'm not going to ruin the whole thing, but look up her and like Democrat is loserish is what you should do. Because she's got kind of this like, she's a blonde girl, she's pretty, but she's got kind of like that ditzy blonde thing. And I think it's part of her act. Like she's an intelligent woman, you know. But she's got that voice. She's like, I'm a Democrat, but like Democrats are just, loserish. They're just losers. And she talks about that, about how like, you're just not winning anything, essentially. And the whole bit kind of talks about that. It's really funny. I don't want to ruin it. But it's true. It's like you guys are so bad at just explaining what you have done and what you will do.
yes,
That's all you got to do. If you just came out and said, I have these 3 things I want to accomplish, and that's what I want to do within my presidency, and of course other things are going to come up, but these 3 things I want to handle.
Yeah.
And here's how I plan to do it. I could at least go, great, but I don't know what they were trying to achieve in that last election other than not Trump.
Yes, and then and so the reason why, and you can argue if the election in 2020 was rigged or not. I don't think it was, but because there's been no evidence that's backed that up. But the reason why Joe Biden won is because they had a talking point, and that was like what they thought Trump did to fumble COVID.
Yeah.
So at least you had something to, whereas like an actual fact, an actual thing, tangible thing, to whereas the 2024 was just like, well, you don't want this guy, yeah? You don't like him. And it's like, well, no. You're trying to convince people that liked him to not like him. Show me. It's like, okay.
And those people already really don't like you, the Democratic candidate.
Yeah.
So you're not going to flip them by just hating on them more.
So, okay, for what I do for my day job, I work in real estate, okay? And sometimes I will have a customer like a property that I don't work with, okay? Either the property doesn't pay, whatever, right? So it doesn't work with what I do. So oftentimes when people in my field talk to a customer that is trying to go somewhere, they try to bash that property. That's stupid. You're basically telling them that their opinions are dumb.
Yeah, they have poor taste.
Right? They have poor taste. So what I do is I say, hey, what do you like about that place? Okay, what is it they're doing here? What's the price on it? Okay, are they doing anything like this? They're doing that, blah, 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 blah. Hey, if I find something that is in that same price point, in that same area, but is running a much better special, would you at least just go take a look at it? And say, because I don't work with that one, and obviously, I didn't charge you anything. I want to make money.
Yeah.
So my way of winning is to win.
Yeah, I'm reinforcing what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find what you want.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like if you don't want to go with it, hey, we don't like you can. I want you to go with what you want to go with.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, at least allow me to give you a better, an option that might be better for you. But if I went up there and I was just like, they have this, they have that bad, this bad, they suck.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, they might listen to me, but more than likely they're going to be like, well, hold on. I thought this was a great place.
Because you're essentially going, I feel for the loser with terrible taste that would like that.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
And so it's the same thing where if you sit up there and you run a campaign off of that, but...
when I realized that I'm very frustrated with the current Democratic Party just because I don't think the ones that are in power right now care about anything other than making themselves rich. And I'm not saying the Republicans don't do that. I'm just saying I'm someone who would like to vote for a more liberal person, at least what my version of liberal was. Now it's all flipping, right?
So your same frustration that you're having is mine on the Republican side because of the fact that I am a Christian that grew up in the church, that have seen, now I'm watching people that I trusted, believed in, looked up to, worship a person that is, not all of them, obviously there's not every Christian is worshiping them, but there's a lot of Christians that worship the man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, hold on a second. What?
Yeah, which is
what did we all what did y'all all talk about all these years? You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't we be like,
Mm-hmm.
Like, because here's the deal. You can sit there and say like, oh, but we had to vote for him because like we couldn't vote for a Democrat because they believe this, this, and this, and this, and this. There was a primary twice.
Yeah.
You could, you know what I mean? There was a primary 2 times that you didn't have to vote for him.
Yeah. Well, but that's just, that's when you realize just how difficult it is to make, they all have donors and super PACs.
Yeah.
So like the more liberal side of me, where like a conservative would just absolutely cringe. It's like, I loved Bernie Sanders. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of his policies that, I don't agree with, that people would be like, oh my God, that would ruin this, that. But I loved that he was putting into the conversation that we got to overturn Citizens United, which allows corporations to donate to campaigns.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, businesses should not be donating money to candidates, and they shouldn't be affecting policy at all. And Republicans, Democrats, independents, everyone would benefit if he had been able to become president and get rid of that, right? Like you can disagree on some of his other kooky ideas, but we should have a form of education that is free for a citizen in this country, right? I just think they marketed it all wrong.
They market everything wrong. Defund the police.
First of all, they all think that this young vote is going to turn out. It won't. It never has. It never will. Stop trying to phrase things thinking like the youth will overcome the mature people. It's like, no, the mature people got this shit in their calendars. They've been waiting for weeks to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And like, especially now being a parent, it's like now we're more tuned in and afraid of new policies than we ever were in our 20s because we're wondering how it's going to affect our children, right? And we don't know. But like you think about like your taxes more, right? That type of stuff. But when he was like, we're going to have free college. And it's like, yeah, but if you're a conservative candidate or a conservative voter, you're thinking like nothing's free. And it's like, you're right. So we're trying to lure in all these young voters by saying free, 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 right? And really, it's like when you heard him on a long form, like he was on Rogan's podcast talking about it way back. And he's talking about all the ways he's going to pay for it, which isn't like raising taxes on us. It was raising tax on like speculative trading, so like day trading, things like that. And it was going to be this fraction of a percentage or something that was going to pay for this. And it's not like everyone's going, like we're not all going to Harvard for free. It's like, no, there's going to be certain schools you can go to. Like, you should just have that free option.
Yeah. Or like,
and it's like, that conversation should be something that conservatives and Democrats love. But because they kept going like, we're going to have free this, free that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, cut that shit out. You're marketing it all wrong.
So, for example, like you said, like it's not going to be every college, right?
Yep.
The junior college that I went to in a very conservative area, they gave free tuition to anybody that lived in that county of that junior college. So if people would have, like, if you campaign on that,
right,
where it's like, hey, we think that all community colleges should be free for anyone that lives in that county.
Yeah.
You might hear people be like, well, yeah, because it's like $1,000 to go there. So we can, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
this makes sense how we could fund this.
This is, it's funded. It's already subsidized by the state a little bit. So this is how you can do that. We're not saying we're not saying everything's going to be free. They're still going to have to buy their books.
And
they're still
like,
going to have to buy that. Like,
and let's put the restrictions on it, right? Like, you got to have this GPA. You got to finish a degree in this amount of time. Like, put the stipulations you want on it so that people aren't just like, yeah, so I've been at junior college for like 14 years now.
Yeah.
Like we know people are going to try to take advantage of it, but you can stop that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's always been my, like, they keep going back to the same, like, it's going to be free. We're going to make this utopia and you won't have to sacrifice anything. And it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, no one's buying that anymore.
No,
we have,
absolutely not.
The conservative voter is smarter than that. Okay? They're not falling for that. And just because we're all online saying that the other side is an idiot and a jackass doesn't mean that both sides don't have intelligent people who can sift out some of this nonsense.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, and you see it, right? It's like your show when we're filming all this. It's like these jokes are never diving into issues like we are right now, but you're dancing around it, right? No one in the crowd that night, and there were people of all different political beliefs, no one's being like, I can't tolerate this, I'm leaving. It's like, that's not the real world.
The real world is not like that at all.
No one's like that.
It's the extremist of the extreme, right? And it's people that, anyways, a lot of it is just they're very good at playing on your emotions.
Yeah.
And you can't get sucked into it because like I said, don't like Donald Trump, but I can listen to if like he has a good point. Like I'm like,
Right.
okay, that makes sense. We shouldn't do that. Right? Not a Democrat at all. Like people think I am because I don't like Donald Trump, but like even on their end, there's a lot of extremists where you're just like, no, that's not what people want either.
Yeah.
Right? I think more people than people realize are centrist.
Yeah.
Because that's why these candidates are able to win on like one or two issues. Because it's usually the biggest issue out there. We should just all come together as a country, as a pact, and say like, no more old people running the country. There's got to be.
Listen, if there's a lower limit on age, there's got to be an upper limit.
Yeah, it's like 55.
You know what I think would be great is
60
like
maybe.
Well, I think you want the retired generation. I can't remember. Are your parents retired?
Semi, yeah.
They're around that age. I do think you want them represented, right? Because I think there's a big concern with elder care in terms of, look, it's just a sad reality that like if you're 70, 80, it's like if a lot of your friends and family have already passed, you are slowly being forgotten about by society.
For sure. But if you can't figure out how to print to PDF, you shouldn't be president.
Well, what I was going to say is I think you just need a smart, let's say if you can be elected at 65, you can do a term.
Yeah.
Right? Like we want the older part represented, but we don't need 80-year-olds in office anymore.
No.
But what I do think would be good is like, okay, you can't run for president anymore, but we have a council or something of this age group that gets to have a say, like, just that little group that's pitching in, hey, if y'all do that, it's really going to screw these people over that are on, this benefit or whatever.
Yeah. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, no one needs to listen to anything I have to say. I'm a stand-up comedian. Like, But
you know what? You're an American. You're a person who's like raising a family in this country. Issues affect you just like they do everyone else. And that's the real thing, right? Like everyone wants the same thing. You want to live a secure life in the sense of like finances. You don't want crime. We all want the same things. We just have these different ideas of getting there.
Yeah.
That's it. But like you know what the best example is like, let's take the extremes right now, right? All this stuff with Iran and like Muslim people. You have your crazy fundamentalist Muslims that we're all scared would somehow take over this country and start ruining the melting pot that we have here, right? And that's like a big fear of conservatives, right? I don't want a fundamentalist Muslim running this country the same way I don't want the Westboro Baptist Church nut jobs running this country.
So,
same crazy people, two totally different religions, and the average American, no matter what your background, who's going to work every day, paying bills, doing this, they don't identify with those lunatics either.
Yeah.
But they got us online thinking, if you're a Christian, you're like the Westboro Baptist Church. And if you're a Muslim, you're like whatever, the people over there are pushing gay people off buildings or something. It's like, whoa, we know there's a lot of middle ground here.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely, again, talking about like Plano, Richardson, all this DFW area, how many Muslim people do we already have living here? Several in our comedy community where it's like, that's not the talking point of their entire identity. That's just a thing they believe,
Yeah, no.
Like it's not a big deal.
It's mostly pretty close to what all the other religions are. There's just different. They're just different. Like especially the three main religions are like
Christianity, Muslim. What's the third?
Judaism. Jewish people.
Jewish people.
Yeah, that's.
I like how you're like, is it Judaism?
Yeah.
Judaism?
Yeah. So, right again, I'm just a dumb.
Are
comic.
they the third largest?
I mean, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
saying for the I don't know what large like numbers, but those are like the three main. They're all from the same God.
And those are definitely in the discussion right now with all the war and everything.
But you see, you know what I'm saying? Like if you know anything about those religions, they're all from the same God. Yeah. They all
because I think Muslims are like the split of Abraham or something.
Yeah, they all believe there's a different Messiah. That's you know what I mean? So they all have a different belief of who the Messiah is, who the Son of God is.
Yeah.
And there's obviously some differences besides that, but like, I mean, the Torah is the Old Testament for the most part, right? So there is like Allah is the same God that Christians believe in. So you're not super far off. There's just some extremist views that each religion has that is different, that differentiates it.
There's a lyric from a band or an artist. His name is Connor Oberst, but you would love him. He had a bunch of like emotional music. Back in your emo days, if I could have sent this to you, it wasn't rock emo like you were talking about. This was like, oh, so like when you're talking about Linkin Park, it's like, oh, so you're into like mainstream emo? Here's like deep emo. Like,
I had some deep emo.
It was a little insufferable, but he had this album or this song. I think it was called Four Winds, and but one of the lyrics was the Bible's blind, the Torah's deaf, the Quran is mute. If you burned them all together, you'd get close to the truth. And it's like, that's always stuck with me. It's like, yeah, you guys, it's like, it's all someone's interpretation from so long ago that has been, changed languages multiple times, and then there's always the people in power who manipulate those writings to control us a little bit more. So it's like, the core of all those religions, right, of being just good to people, trying to be a good person, being better every day, everyone can get behind that.
Yeah.
All these little details you squabble about, that's where it's like, I don't care at all about organized religion in that sense. It's like I've got my own versions of like prayer and how I handle that relationship with God or whatever you consider it to be. But like the thought of arguing over like, well, the text says right here, and it's like, man, I don't know who wrote that. I don't know how many times that's been manipulated.
Well, I don't find myself intelligent enough to because there are people that studied this and have master's degrees in it that looked at like the original Hebrew. You know what I mean? There's certain words that the Hebrew translation, there was not a word for that.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, how did you translate it to this? You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, I believe Jesus was the Son of God, and he came and he saved us from our, to save us from our sins. Mm-hmm. Not other than that, but I mean, like, that's the
core
that's
belief.
The core of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to use the Bible as a way for me to like oppress another group of people. And I think majority of Christians don't do that. I think that it's just kind of like how you said, there's the extremists on each side. And that's where I get my feelings hurt when I get in my emo side about like the Trump thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said. But then like I listened to your episode with like Joe Manning that came out, and he's like, men are going to fall. Right. And that's what I keep having to tell myself all the time. It's like, well, that's why you don't look to a dude, like a human being,
right,
because they are imperfect. Mm-hmm. Right. And they're going to do that. So you have to kind of give a little bit of grace somewhere. But at the same time, like, let's call it full out a little bit when he does some stuff. You know what I mean? Like let's call him out just a little, because you still got to call people out.
He's a wild boy, man. He's a wild boy.
You got to call him out.
I am just, one thing I am blown away with is just, the guy doesn't. It's going to start sounding like I just love the guy. I don't, but I am fascinated with him. Like he's going to be one of the most studied presidents in the history of this country. I just want
to find somebody that loves me the same way his followers love him. Like I'm just looking for that. I'm looking for that same kind. Who was it?
Yeah, we could sell a lot of comedy tickets,
dude. One of my friends. Who was it? He's like he compared. He's like not in like what they believe in, but the love and the infatuation.
Yeah.
They were like it's. MAGA people are Swifties.
Yeah.
It's like the same. It's like the same.
They're in
it.
It's going both ways. The Democrats just don't have a person like that, but they're crazy followers on their end that would, whatever you would call that, similarity to MAGA. Like, did you see the new acronym in Canada that they added to LGBTQ? Mm-mm. I got to look this up.
I think that...
Go ahead.
I guess maybe what it is that, the guy's better at merch.
He is a marketing
He's a good
genius.
marketer. I mean, he's a good marketer. I'll give him that. The problem is, it's just odd, dude. Like, I never saw anybody rocking a candidate's flag before. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, it's a very strange time in politics in that they are infatuated.
Yeah,
and there are really a good group of those Trump supporters who are just diehard that they would be fine if he overturned the Constitution to do an additional term.
I know
they would, and that's a weird, because it's like whoa, like it's still weird. America.
It's a weird thing.
It's still like. If my candidate that I love, forget the political affiliation, was like, and that's why I need to continue, and I'd be like, hey, hold on. Now, I don't think he's done that officially yet, but they all dance around. I think he's one of those where he's like, they love me. I could do a third term. They love me. He says that stuff, and it's like his way of testing the waters. But I don't know. Anyway, so again, they're crazy about him like that. But then there's this wild side of the ultra, like, if you say liberal, they get offended because they're not liberals. They're progressives, right? They're further than that.
I don't even know, man.
I had somebody once tell me, they were like, yeah, but that's liberal. I'm talking about progressive. Like, liberal is a step down from progressive in their mind. Anyway, so the LGBTQ, they have MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+. They just, and that stands for, let's see, where's it at? Missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual. And it's like, look, I want all those people to live happy, successful lives, whatever that jumble was, right? I want you to have a good life, okay? And I don't want to oppress you in any way, all right? But at some point, we're blending so many things together that I feel like, like, I'm trying to think how to describe it. But basically, like, if I cared about this subject, right? If I'm raising awareness for a cause, whatever that is, and I pile on 10 other causes with that, am I able to fully focus on this cause anymore? It's like, it's so jumbled together now that it's like insane. But they hear an acronym like that and they're like, yes, we're changing it. And it's like, okay, I get you want to do, again, you seem like a person who wants to, and deep in your heart, you want to do something that helps these people. And that's commendable. Like, you want to help somebody. You want to do a nice thing. But boy, this is a weird way to do it. Like,
yeah, I mean, maybe it's not the best marketing, right? Because but at the same time, I'm like, if those people are being heard, being seen, felt, if it helps.
I feel like it goes the opposite way. I feel like because you jumbled it all in, now you're being seen
like
less.
You're saying it's not as special, maybe.
Yeah, you're just being thrown at, like, oh, you're in that group of things.
Yeah, I don't know either way, but I guess
Do you remember the people in the group that I just mentioned?
I don't know at all. I knew a couple of them but at the same time though, like, if that saves like one person from feeling a certain, as someone that felt in their life like a weirdness, you know what I mean? And couldn't really comprehend it until I was much older. If that makes someone feel a little bit better, put 4 more letters in it. I don't care. What, you know what I mean? Like, if it makes, if it
doesn't affect my life in that sense, so I'm not worried about it. And and again, I'm not out here going like, we got to get rid of it.
Yeah,
but I am going like, whew,
it's a lot of letters. It's a lot of letters. But like I said, like, add 10 more if it helps out one person. Like, and because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to like even like the things that I don't even agree with, I'm like fired up about it. But sometimes I'm just kind of like, I'm just trying to raise 2 really nice girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to empower 2 girls, make my wife feel like she's supported, and make sure that these girls have a great life and feel like that. You know what I mean? Like,
see, this is because we're getting low testosterone. We got to get jacked up.
Nah, I can't.
And like, it's about me.
I can't get fired up anymore, man. Like, so at the end of the day, I'm just kind of like, I don't really have enough time to care about any of it.
Again, that's the average person, right? We're all just trying to keep our head above water.
Just have compassion for people. That's like, and that's the thing sometimes where I'm like, where people get mad and I'm like, dude, I'm just showing empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's going through a lot. You don't know what anyone else is going through. Like, they could be going through hell. Mm-hmm. So as long as they've got someone that's, you need to add the MMI or whatever letters you said. If that makes somebody feel like they're heard and seen, cool. Maybe. It's the way I look at it. I get what you're saying.
No, I think what you're saying is right. And I think I don't know, again, I'm getting older now and I don't trust any politician, period.
Yeah, dude.
Right? So now I'm like, do you feel like that's going to help someone, or are you doing it to score some weird point or with whatever thing, or does this help you fundraise in some weird way? I don't know.
Maybe.
But no, like on a basic, here's the thing. If you are one of those letters that you identify with that and we meet in public and you tell me that, it's like, I'm not going to have an opinion on it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be like, okay. And that, I feel like that's all you need in this world is like, I'm not going to go like, oh, you're a horrible person and you shouldn't be that way.
I think that if any time that you can just show people, like, I think most people should just, who was it said, like, someone, who was it, like, you need to drink more water or mind your business. Who was it that said that? Like, if you could just like listen to people and be like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, that's what you're doing. As long as your thing doesn't hurt me or hurt somebody else, do your thing.
Exactly.
You a butterfly. You identify like when I used to substitute teach, right the year after college, I had a kid that thought they were a vampire, and the other one thought they were a cat, and they told me that, and I was like, 23-year-old me was like, that's kind of weird, but do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, but the only time that I had to like say something is the vampire kid was trying to like he was going to, like I heard him talking to his friends, and he was going to like. His girlfriend was going to allow him to like drink her blood or something. And I was like, hey.
No.
That's when I had to say something.
Now
you know
we're getting
what I mean?
into weird
Like,
territory, okay?
Now, like, hey.
Dress up's fun.
Yeah.
Dress up's fun.
I went and talked to the real teachers because I can't do anything about that. I
Yeah.
was like, hey, I don't know. I just listen to it. Not really, you need to take care of that. I don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
I just get paid $76. So you need to do something about that. But at the end of the day, like.
Well, now with your special out, you could go back and substitute teach, and you could talk to this kid. You'd be like, listen, watch my thing. I went through phases too.
Yeah, dog.
Okay?
Like,
I went through lots of different phases.
Yeah.
All right? We all try things out, but we can't drink blood.
Yeah, we can't drink blood.
Okay? We're crossing a line here.
You're a kitty cat. That's cool. But we can't, like,
yeah.
you know.
Here's me wearing all this FUBU.
Yeah.
Okay? You grow out of things.
Gosh, I wish I had pictures
You grow
me
out of
wearing
it.
FUBU.
I'm shocked. Your mom commented on social media. She was like, I remember this phase. And I was like, please send us some pictures. You know, if she, and I was hoping she would dig up some photo album or something. But
I don't think I wore it enough for there to be photos.
Yeah.
Because, those years, late 90s, there's a lot of work that had to go through to get a picture. It's not like you could just snap it with your camera.
You had to have one of those really cool disposables that we
Yeah,
all,
and have a disposable. Someone had to develop the film or whatever. So I doubt there's a picture of me wearing FUBU. Because the FUBU phase, in all reality, was probably a semester, maybe at most. So
we all went through it. I had that similar
You had FUBU?
phase. I don't know if I ever had any name brand FUBU, but it was definitely what year would that have been? What year did you graduate high school?
04.
So I was 03. Okay, so we were close enough. Look, talking about all this like political, social things and LGBT, blah blah blah. I loved the 90s and 2000s because to me that was the best form of liberalism where like look, I'm not saying everything was solved. Like there was still there wasn't a lot of like gay rights and stuff back then. They were still working on that. But I can't remember the like parties, concerts, all the stuff we went to. There wasn't a lot of like get that person the fuck out of here or something like. It was never things like that. It was always like everyone's welcome. And I was in like a small conservative town, and there might be some like awkward questions, which I'm sure you're familiar with, where like they just don't understand a little bit about you, and so the question's a little phrased poorly, but it was always coming from like curiosity. It was never like hate, right? And I think you saw that in a lot of the pop culture, so like music especially. It's like how many white boys in Texas were obsessed with like hip hop culture because like our local radio stations were blending all this music in. It's like, I don't remember if it was the Edge or the Eagle back then, but it's like you could hear like a System of a Down song, which those guys are all Armenian, right?
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're all Armenian. And then you could hear like the Toadies, who are like Southern Texas guys, and then you might hear Eminem, a white rapper, and then you might hear Outkast from Atlanta. It's like there was this blend of cultures, and I felt like we were all like, oh God, if I could live like Outkast or Ludacris or something for a little while, that'd be incredible. Like it was never like, do you see these fucking people?
Yeah.
In my town? Like it was never like that. And so for me, I think it was more. I'm trying to think when that would have been. I was in basketball in high school and was really into it. When was And One?
That was late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, so it would have been 99, 2000, 2001. I was playing basketball for the high school, and we were obsessed with the And One mixtapes, obsessed with like Eminem, Outkast, those things. So yeah, it wasn't FUBU, but it was definitely like, I think I need to start. Like your accent changes a little.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all that stuff. And I'm sure there's people from my high school who have pictures of like, who knows what I was wearing back then.
There is a picture of me, and I wish I could find it somewhere, and it's from my freshman year of college, and I had it on my MySpace for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's a digital copy of it on one of my computers somewhere. And I have a black wife beater on, a white pants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like white, like
I already know where we're going.
Like white jogging pants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those type of pants. And
Like the
No, more of like the ones like not the windbreaker material.
Okay, so
more
cloth.
No, more of like it's like the athletic material, but not windbreaker.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I have fake diamond studded earrings. And it's not satire. Like like it is. I'm walking around my college.
I'm here in Oklahoma now.
Yeah.
I can be myself.
Well, no, that was in West Texas. That was my junior college that I went to before.
Okay.
So even way more like and I'm just
West Texas, like oil country over there.
yes,
Yeah.
and the picture was on my MySpace. Like it was, I thought it was, I ruined. And I
bet you looked pretty good.
Nose, and I had a chin strap beard. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my God,
gosh,
yeah.
so douchey. And like I went through like the phases, man.
So I had the hip hop phase. I don't think that one was very long lived because you realize real quickly like, oh, this is not me. But then it went really all like Korn, Limp Bizkit, that like hard. What do you call that genre? New metal, I think is what they're calling it. But it was like Jinkos, black clothes. Spencer had the funny shirts. Like I got in trouble. I had to change clothes at school.
Yeah, we called those bangers at my school.
Bangers, the Jinkos.
Yeah, if you wore Jinkos, you were a banger.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I had a shirt that said something. I'm smiling because they haven't found the bodies yet. Because Hot Topic and Spencer, they had all the weird shirts.
No Fear.
Yeah, and that was around the Columbine shooting.
Yes,
and I just worn that shirt before, so I didn't think anything of it. And then it's like someone was offended at school, and it was a friend of mine who wasn't actually offended, but it was one of those friends where I was too young to realize like they're not actually your friend. Like we're friends, but they're kind of shitty to you all the time.
Yeah.
And they straight like in an assembly, they're like, well, what if someone's dressing like this and wearing a shirt like this? And it's like they were singling me out about that. And it was my friend. And that was a turning point where I was like, that piece of,
I want in sixth grade. It was either 6th or 7th grade. I wanted a pair of Jinkos so bad, and my parents would not buy them for me. So I bought a pair of Jinkos from a guy at school, like it was like a drug deal. Like I brought him cash. He brought me a pair of Jinkos, and I would like change into them. And then somehow my parents found them. But then I realized like I looked terrible in them. I don't have the body type for. Like I don't need something even bigger on my body. You know what I mean? Like I don't need something wider than I already am. Yeah. So it was not something that I ever tried to do again. But I'm trying to think what else But what's funny about it is I had these phases, but for the most part, I was extremely preppy. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm listening to emo music, but wearing Abercrombie.
Yep.
Like that's not, you know what I mean? Like it's I'm trying to be like punk rock, but just the complete opposite.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's high school. You're just trying to figure it all out, And I'm not dealing with multiple ethnic backgrounds either. You know what I'm saying? I held on to the Jinko identity way too long. I can't remember when I stopped, but
they're back now.
Yeah. But I mean, mine was more being in a small town. I'm just trying to be so different. Like any attention for being different, I'm not like this because I'm acting like that, but I'm also playing on the varsity basketball team.
Yeah.
So it's like you're a jock, but you're doing this. Like, yeah, but I go through both worlds or something.
Well, that was the weirdness of me too. So it was like, okay, so I wanted the like theater people to see me as more like a jock, but then like around like my jock friends, I wanted to come off as kind of like artsy, like you know. Eccentric, so like what I mean. So I wear I wear like wristbands that match my clothes, whatever, like and because I feel like I get away with it because I was in theater, or whatever. But then around like the theater kids, I was like, well, but I'm not like that though. Like I like sports, like you guys catch the Mavs game last night, whatever.
I'm tough. You guys are just a bunch of pussies.
It was a very weird mix to be in of that,
Yeah, that's definitely like. I definitely don't have the high school like those people who are like those were the glory days. Like I liked it, but as an adult, I'm like, what the hell was I doing back then? Like it's like I was all over the place.
I remember some stuff, only the things that were like good enough to be stories. But then there's some things where I'm like, well, wait, was that high school or was that college or was that like Like it's funny is I have a pretty good memory where I can remember a lot of things like vividly. But what's odd is that, so my wife is from the town that I went to junior college in. But I didn't meet her there. I met her here. And so now we go back to that town, 4 or 5 times a year to see her parents. So it's weird how your mind plays tricks on you, where it's kind of almost erased all those memories.
Yeah.
So I remember going to school there, and I remember a lot of the things there, but like I'm in this group text with a couple of my buddies from that school that I still keep up with. And one of them will be like, remember this, this, and this, and this. And I'm like, I couldn't know. I don't. Like, yeah, they'll have to tell me like 7 things about it where I'm like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Because now that town has turned into all the memories of like family Christmases and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But whereas if I were to go back to like Oklahoma, I remember all that stuff because there's no other memories for Norman besides those 3 years. It's weird how your mind does that, because my daughter now goes to she's in middle school now, my oldest, and she's going to where I went to middle school.
Oh, wow.
So I had not been back to that school since 8th grade, because you don't go back to your middle school. Who goes back to the middle school? So when we went last year around this time, when we went to like the orientation stuff when she was in 5th grade, and we went into that gym, the emotions that came into my body, because you know what I mean?
It's
like
the same gym?
Same gym. It's the same almost, I mean, it's updated now, but you're just like thinking about, okay, like I had practice here, I did this here, I kissed a girl behind those bleachers, like, whatever, got in trouble over there, made this joke here, got in an argument with a friend, and you're just like seeing all these different things.
Yeah.
Because all those memories were able to come back, because I don't have any of the memories that take over that now. I bet you in a couple years, because my youngest daughter will go through there, so it's like the next 6 years are going to be at that school.
You're going to be crying all the time.
Yeah, no, I bet you what happens is by the time my oldest is like in 7th grade, I bet you all those memories are going to be suppressed, and it's going to be all about, oh, my daughter got to had NGHS abduction over there, this happened there, this happened that. So it's interesting how your mind does that.
Yeah. I really want to go back to, I've never wanted to do this, but I've started to want to go back to my high school and just, it's like my son's asking questions about like, where did you go to school? Because we're here in Dallas now. And he just doesn't kind of understand that there's these different places. He's still thinking like my school's my school and that's where everybody goes to school. But yeah, I do kind of want to see that. It's like the amount of times we spent in the basketball gym that's there. It's like, it's just core memories. And like you said, they're not faded, but I'm just not thinking about them ever again. And, it's like I would love a little tour of like, oh, my God, there's the locker room. Here's the trophy case with our stuff in it. We were district champs, and we were the first ones in a long time to do that. So it's like for us, that was a big deal, kind of like breaking the dry spell, even though the teams after us, I think, went deeper in the playoffs and were probably better, more successful.
But it's the first to do it
was a big deal. And so, like, I don't know if I'm sure I have a picture somewhere, but it's like I don't even remember what I looked like back then, like on a varsity basketball team. It's like the thought now, like, coming out of that Limp Biscuit corn phase or whatever, it's like by the end, it's like, I'm wearing like my leather jacket around and stuff like that, like turning more into that kind of jock guy. Well, at the same time, I'm listening to like punk rock music and stuff. But it's like, man, I don't even really remember exactly what my personality was then. I wish there was a little timestamp of that I could check out, but I guess this generation's not going to have an issue with that. Everything's being recorded all the time.
They're going to see all of those things. Yeah, because, you do go back to those gyms where you're just like... Because for me, that middle school, we practiced basketball in there in elementary school. So it's like we did that, and then you had the 3 years that you're actually in middle school, and like you would go there for like open gym in the summer. So you spend all those time in there. We got a banner up there too. We were the first... I think our 7th grade team was either the first or second team to go undefeated in that school's history.
Wow.
So they put back then, if the whole thing was that if you go undefeated, they put a banner up. Well, that's cool. 25 years ago, so they can't have like 600 banners. So now they have them on like a wall, or whatever.
The years,
and it has our year on there, or whatever. And I was like, oh, it's cool that it's still there, whatever. Because I guess why would they delete that? But it is interesting how your mind does that. And like once you have kids, you do want to show them where you grew up, and that's what like one thing that I think is. Like I live in the same area that I grew up in, even if it was only like 25 minutes away from where I grew up in, you don't get to like go home ever because you're always home. You know what I mean? So now that they go to a school that I went to, it did kind of feel like it's like, oh, I get to go home and show them. I didn't really want them to go to the same school. It's like we didn't plan that. Like, oh, these are the best schools around. My daddy went to this school. We're going. Like, it just kind of happened, But it is kind of cool.
It is cool. Yeah, I mean, I was ready to like leave my town, never go back, kind of thing. And I don't ever want to take my son to go to school out there. Yeah, it's like I'm not interested at all. Like. But I think it's because he's getting into sports now. That you're just like my wife really pisses me off because she's like, first of all, we've run marathons.
Yeah, we're endurance athletes.
Yeah, we've done this. I have played multiple sports all the time, and like in high school, she knew me in high school. She knew me when I was on this basketball team. She knew me when I played multiple sports. And she'll do this stuff now where like there's this thing going around where women are like, are you athletic? Like they're asking their husband.
Yeah, it's like a little TikTok trend.
Yeah. But she's, when I started like showing him he's playing t-ball, and I was showing him how to play t-ball, and she's like, do you know how to play baseball? I'm like, what? Yeah. Like I played baseball. What are you talking about? Like I'm having to text my dad. I'm like, can you tell her that I played baseball? But it's, it's like I want to show him, like, hey, I've done these things. So if you can listen to me, I can show you how to not only do them, but like do them better than I did. You know what I mean? Now that I'm older and wise, or that kind of stuff. But it's also weird to just be like, let's go look at the old trophy case.
Yeah. It's a weird feeling. So like I have this rule with my kids that if we are doing like anything, I like an extracurricular. I asked them, I was like, do you want coaching or do you want to just play? Because I didn't like that growing up. Like, I just want to play. Like, I don't need to have a coaching session at all times. So if they tell me like they don't want to be coached, then we just play.
Yeah.
And I'd love, but it takes everything in me to not just be like, nope, stop, do what you're doing, like here. And because I don't know. It's weird because you want them to be good at stuff, but then at the same time, like I kind of care more about us kicking it. Like my youngest is into golf, and she like wants to go play golf with me, but as long as I'm not showing her anything, and so which I respect, but I'm also like this is the hardest sport in the world. So but I don't know how to show you. Luckily though, she'll let my dad show her stuff. So like my dad will come with us and like she'll get better because of that. But because I'm not gonna sit there and get in the way of us hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely probably need to do more of the hang, but like today he got a out today on and earlier in the day I was talking to him about like I was always like the hustle guy, you know what I mean? So it's like whatever I lacked in talent, I could make up for in hustle. Kind of similar to how we filmed this. It's like, hey, I don't have big deep pockets and big budget and a huge crew, but I know how to hustle and like set up some curtains and lights, and I know what I want. I know how to do it. Like I can make this stuff happen through effort more than just raw talent. And he's just goofing. I mean, he's 6, so he's goofing off a lot. It's fun. But I'm trying to explain to him, it's like, hey, but if you learn how to play, it's even more fun. And so like when he gets that out today, he's looks at you from across the field because I'm an active dad. Like we're out on the field helping the other dad coach and stuff. And he like looks across and he's like giving you that thumbs up or whatever. And it's like, yeah, man, that's how much more fun it can be when we play, when we learn the rules enough to play it somewhat correctly. Like I'm not expecting triple plays over here, but just showing him like, hey, as soon as you pick it up, if you throw like quickly and you throw this way to that person, then you can probably get an out. Yeah. That kind of stuff,
I got in trouble last week because I've coached a lot of basketball. Okay. I stopped playing basketball after 9th grade because I was not good enough to continue to play basketball. If when you're in the Metroplex, like if you're not like really, really good, and I wasn't really, really good, it's over.
I told you that part of the reason we were so good is we did all the summer leagues against schools like yours.
Yes.
And just getting our ass kicked the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's wildly competitive when you get to the big schools.
Yeah, it's a different ball game,
yeah,
right? And
crazy.
Even my school was brand new, so it was like one of the smaller big schools.
Hebron?
Yeah. It was brand new, so it was like one of the smaller big schools. I can't even imagine how competitive it is now.
Yeah.
Right? So I stopped playing after 9th grade. But I have coached a lot of youth basketball because I used to do it as a volunteer thing. I think I did it for 4 years, maybe. So and then I coached my daughter for 2 or 3 years. I don't coach her anymore. It got to the point to where she's in 6th grade now. I think I stopped coaching her after 3rd grade or 4th grade, one of the two, because it got to the point to where, like I said, the thing is that, like, do you want to hang out or do you want me to coach you? So I need someone else to coach you. Well, last week in her game, I got so frustrated with what was happening, and I was in the crowd like as if I was like Pat Riley. Like, I mean, I was so intense on what
What were you yelling? Like, what was the thing you wanted done?
What was happening was
Make the cut.
we had a 14-point lead, and in the second half, the team full court pressed us and came back and won. And because every single time our girls would just, 6th graders would just run and abandon the point guard. And it was like, call a timeout, put a press break in play. Like, I was like yelling at girls and like directing them. I was like, so-and-so, here.
Don't
you
go to
here.
the corner.
Yeah, like I was like, come on, passes beat the break. You're not going to dribble out of a press. And I was like, like in the, like, right? Like, I was like, do not abandon her, and it was just like, or whatever. And so, like, I yelled at my daughter because they were telling her to be like back, but everybody was leaving the point guard.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was just chaos. I'm talking, I have watched thousands of basketball games from age of kindergarten to the NBA, and I have never seen that many 10-second violations called. It was like 4 in one game where they did not get it's not that they stole the ball from them, that they did not get the ball across half court in 10 seconds. I've never seen that happen multiple times in one game.
So this was the first time they've really been pressed.
No.
Oh, God.
So every game that a team has pressed us, the same thing has happened.
Oh.
And I was very frustrated. I was very animated in the stands. I like our coach a lot. Her and I laugh, we joke, we have a good time.
Yeah, when she's not screwing up.
No, or whatever, right? And I'm not the type to complain to a coach that is volunteering because you're volunteering your time. I will never complain to anyone that's complaining. She's not a volunteer. So we pay.
We've got expectations.
We pay, right? And I don't care about winning. I do care a little bit about the winning, but I care about like this isn't
about blowing a 14-point lead.
This isn't free. That's what I care about, right? And I go to the practices and I watch what they do in practice. But however, I will say this: we weren't at practice on this past Thursday because we had something else going on, and today we broke the press a bunch. So I don't know if me getting a little bit crazy on the stands, whatever, or maybe they saw it too. Maybe I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
Because to be fair, they only have a 55-minute practice, so there's not a ton you can do in 55 minutes.
Oh yeah, we need to get some 2-a-days going.
Yeah, let's go. Right? But yes, and I got in trouble because apparently
Officially in trouble or like by your wife?
by my wife and my
Okay.
daughter
Okay.
because apparently my daughter got taken out of the game and not put back in because she listened to me instead of what the coach
Oh.
said. Right? So it wasn't directly said that, like, hey, you listen to your dad. It was that you did what I told you not to do, and she did listen to
Well,
what
it sounds
I said.
like we need to find a new team then.
No, absolutely not. and I told my wife, I was like, to be fair, I was like defending myself big time. I was
right.
I was like, to be fair, I did not tell her to do that after there was like a timeout. I did it when there was 3 times in a row chaos. I was like, get over there and just help out. Like, y'all are all running away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I wasn't the wrong because when I coach, I don't want parents over there saying stuff. So I'm 1,000% in the wrong. So today I just kind of cheered. I didn't coach at all. I just kind of was like, all right, girls, all right, move your feet a little bit. Hands up, girls. Like that's about the extent of the coaching I did. I didn't do any like
Looking good. Way to keep listening to the coach.
Yeah, there you go.
Way to listen.
I'm not changing the scheme. I'm not changing. Dude, the team they played today, oh my gosh. We've played this team like, this is probably the 5th or 6th time we've played them. They are so good that normally they're beating, and it's not just us, they do this to everybody. They're normally beating us so bad that they turn the scoreboard off. Like literally. And today we only lost by like 25.
Hey, there you go.
No, it was a huge improvement. I'm not.
Listen, I used to get beat like 110 to 30 when we were doing those summer
yes.
leagues. So I'm not belittling that. Like progress is progress.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you were saying, I've heard you talk about it on the show before, where it's like y'all won y'all's district, and then in the summer y'all went and played against, bigger competition.
Well, we played against bigger competition for the summers leading up to the season that we won district.
Okay.
Because that was my last, that was my senior year.
Gotcha.
But yeah, if we had not been getting just dominated, having to earn any bucket you could get, there would have been no way.
That's what. So like my daughter she doesn't play year round. I mean, she probably plays 3 seasons out of the year. So not quite year round.
Yeah.
But usually in the fall and in the spring, there's not enough teams that sign up to where there's divisions. It's just everybody in one thing. And when they're in that, they struggle.
Yeah.
But when they're put into like the middle division, they've made the championship every single time.
Yeah.
They haven't won it, but they've made the championship. So like they're a good mid-level team, but dude, these people that are in the higher it was like watching a professional team.
Yeah.
And they're the same age.
Yeah, we played a I don't remember the age group, but we like one of my son's soccer teams. He was 5 when this was going on, and one of the teams we played against, they're like trying to draw up corner kicks.
Yeah,
like a play, and I'm like, they're 5. They're 5, and but maybe they're going to go on to be like great players. I don't know. Maybe they're all just going to resent their parents. I can't tell.
All I know is that this coach, when we played them the last time, I think we scored 4 points and got our 4th point in the 4th quarter.
Right.
And he called a timeout, and they all had to do push-ups. I was like, it's the scoreboard is off.
Sounds like, you know what, Mike? It sounds like he's raising some winners.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
And you're over here just making excuses.
And I'm over here trying to outcoach the coach. Maybe if I listened.
Dang, push-ups because they scored.
I don't know if that's why
they
scored, but that was the sequence of events.
Maybe it was a breakdown of the defense.
Something happened that he was not happy with, of them only being up 115-4, because literally it was my wife was doing the scoreboard that day, and I was like, why did she stop putting the score up? And she goes, their coaches on the other team came up to me and said, stop adding our score up. He's like, she'll write it in the books. We'll get the official score.
Yeah.
But you don't need to put it on the scoreboard. They do it to everybody. They're just dominate. So I don't really know why they play in the league, if you want me to be completely honest.
Sounds like they need to move up.
They're in there because they're in the highest division that
they need to do something.
They need to go like AAU or something.
Yeah.
Or play against high school girls.
That's definitely some sandbagging going on there. But
I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah.
When you watch them play, you're just like, this is like, I don't want to play against them. I mean, it's impressive. They're strong. They're just draining threes, like, and not like, they're barely across behind the line, like they're just like,
they're deep
pulling up.
Well, the game has changed so much, like the way 3-point shooting is such a skill now. Like, we'll go to the Y just to shoot around, just me and my son, and there'll be high school kids in there draining threes from well behind the line. Like, they're already prepping, for long distance threes. They know that, like, if I can just sprint up here real quick and catch them off guard and sink one, then we're good to go.
Yeah, it's a different game. It's a
different game.
That's what, like, I always, people will talk about the argument of when they try to discredit Michael Jordan's abilities, and they're like, look at his 3-point percentage. And I'm like, well, yes, that's an argument to say, but you cannot tell me that if he did not grow up in an era where 3-point shooting was allowed and emphasized, that he would not have became a good 3-point shooter. I mean, literally.
Here's the thing. He's a champion, okay? If he goes into the league today, like if he's in his prime and he steps into this current form of the league and he can't hit that 3, it's going to be one season and he's going to now be nailing the 3. A winner is going to figure it out. You play whatever you're supposed to play. Like in his era of basketball, they had 3-point specialists. They literally had guys, and that's all they did. That's what Steve Kerr was. He came off the bench to shoot threes when they needed 3-pointers. Like, it was a different style of game. I mean, literally, like,
people will be like, oh, LeBron James would have dominated. He's 6'9", 250 pounds, and he can handle the ball. No, you know what he would have been? A power forward. They would have been like, this is how you play basketball.
Yeah.
You stand at the block,
Yep.
and you play with your back to the basket, and
Yep.
you use that big body.
Mm-hmm.
It would have taken like the most innovative coach in the world to be like, you know what?
Let's put him on the edge.
Let's put him on the wing.
And let's be real. It's like, it's not like it's going to be a walk in the park when you got a body up against Shaq.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't get me wrong. LeBron, Michael Jordan, those guys, they're going to dominate in any era that they're in.
Yeah.
I just think that it's a funny, like how you said, like it's not even high schoolers. There's elementary school kids that are draining threes.
Right.
When I coached those youth kids in South Dallas, that was 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the beginning of the Steph Curry era. So that's what changed it all.
Yeah.
Was Steph Curry. If our kids shot a 3-pointer, unless we needed 3 points, on the bench.
Oh my! On the bench.
What do you do? Get the layup. But now it's literally the analytics of the game has been like, hey, unless you have a layup, you're shooting a 3.
Well, even now, there's people on wide open breaks who take the 3.
Yeah.
It's like, we need the points. Talking about Steph Curry, have you seen how even he's adjusted his shot now that we have these giant 7-footers in the league or whatever? Who's the big guy? Wemby?
Yeah.
If you watch his shot, there's people who've put out videos kind of analyzing, like, he is now floating his shot at an insane height. And that's what it is, to be able to pull that shot off before this giant comes with that hand outstretched in the air. And it's like, even him, nothing to prove anymore, right?
Yeah.
He's still going like, okay, if I want to be a dominant player, I got to make this adjustment.
Yeah.
So it's like, the thought of like a LeBron, Jordan, Kobe not adjusting. No, these are people who are, these are pure, like, thoroughbred, like, I got to win at all costs.
They're psychopaths.
Yeah. They're going to
legitimately.
They're going to have a cardboard cutout that's 7.5 feet tall or something. And they're going to go, how do I adjust my shot? And they're going to be there shooting thousands of shots. The only person I would love to truly see in today's league that would be incredible is I would love to watch Larry Bird play in a modern league, because he's such a, he was so dominant, and he's so unique in the sense of, like, he seems unstoppable, but he's just got that old school style that people are like, no way would that ever work. And it's like, I don't know, man.
Well,
he seems like a dude who will bully you until he figures it out. And he talked so much trash, and, like, it just seems like there's a mentality to that type of player that doesn't exist right now.
Well,
there's something about that guy specifically really fascinates me.
I go back to where I'm like, kind of, where I'm like, well, he didn't have the athleticism, and there's so much athleticism. But then I look at it like, well, Jokic is the best player in the NBA, and there's no athleticism there. I mean, he is obviously an athlete, but he's not playing above the rim or anything like that.
Wouldn't you love to see, like, Larry Bird and LeBron and just see what happens? Just see how that one-on-one happens. Two totally different styles. I would say that Larry Bird's probably mentally going to be tougher than LeBron. Like, Bird's going to take a couple elbows to the face and not say much about it.
Yeah.
That's all I mean, right? Like, I would love to see how that one-on-one would go if you had both in their prime. I mean, like, AI, maybe that's what AI needs to do.
That's all AI needs to do. That's what we need. That's what we need AI to settle these type of debates. Yeah. I do go down these, like, sometimes my algorithm on TikTok or whatever will bring me these things to where they switch, like, Michael Jordan and LeBron James's careers, and it's like a video game simulator, and I'll literally watch like 11 seasons of, like, what, and it's obviously not. It's like a 14-minute video, but it's like, it shows it, and it's like, here he's in season 6. He's already got 3 MVPs where Jordan had 2 or whatever. And it's like switches their stuff, or like if. Like, what's crazy that nobody ever talks about is that, people talk about it, but LeBron was drafted number 1 in that draft, and then Darko Milicic was drafted number 2 to Detroit, and Carmelo was number 3 to Denver. Nobody thought that Detroit was going to draft Darko Milicic, okay? it was like a clear cut. It was like LeBron 1, Carmelo 2. Carmelo had just taken Syracuse as a freshman to the national championship and won it on his back. Like there were arguments between who was going to get drafted between LeBron and Carmelo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Detroit had that top pick, or how they must have had a trade from somebody. They won the NBA championship the next year. If they draft Carmelo, they probably win, and they won 2 in like 5 years. They probably win like 5 in a row. And like, you know what I mean? And so they did that. One of the simulations, they had Carmelo go to the Pistons instead of going to instead of Denver. And man, was it wild. That was a crazy team.
You know, we could be using AI to cure cancer, but nope, we're doing that. That's what we're doing. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's but also like the magic of teams can't be described, right? Because that Mavs team that just had the magic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, does he go to that team and do that, or is it just not mesh well? Do those feathers just not blend?
Well, because here's the deal about that is like he played small forward, and they had God, what was his name? Rip Hamilton, and they also had Tayshaun Prince. So it's like, where does he fit in?
We got personalities clashing.
Yeah, where does he fit in?
Yeah, like the Mavs proved you don't need the best players; you need the players that work the best together.
God,
right? That team.
That was the most me at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Carrollton, just watching.
You know, I worked at that one.
I know.
Right? Okay.
Hey, I was actually going to tell you this. I was going to text you this yesterday. It's gone.
Oh, they got rid of it?
Yeah, I was over there yesterday. We dropped the kids off because we had to go buy a new car. So we dropped the kids off at my parents' house, and we were trying to like pick up like coffee or something. I was like, well, where B-Dubs at?
Yeah. Well,
I was like, I don't know when. I mean, it must have happened within the last month because
I usually see it like once a year when I go to a relative's house over there around the holidays. So yeah, that was probably the last time I saw it. But
it's gone. It's no more.
Goodbye.
You know?
Good memories there. Good memories. That brought me to all of this, man. I was working at Chili's, and when I had to start going to school like 5 days a week, and I was going to have to be there in the evenings, I was like, I guess I got to find like a new job or something. And when I was bartending at Chili's, one of my regulars was the manager for the Buffalo Wild Wings next door to Chili's over in East Plano off 75.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was telling him my situation. He's like, man, we're opening up a new store over here in Carrollton. He's like, I'll just let you work, 2 days a week on the weekends. You can just work open to close. I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. I was like, perfect. So I was working double shifts on Saturday and Sunday up there, just open to close, making all my money on the weekend, and then doing nothing but school during the week. And it was perfect. And so that like got me my career, and then that made it to where I could do all these things. You know, it's like one cool manager. You know, he could have been a dick and be like, no, we don't do those kinds of deals and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I got really lucky. I had one good manager at Chili's. When I told him I was starting school for something, he was like, hey man, some people do this for life, and some people go to school and do things like that. So like, we're going to work around it. You just tell me what your schedule is. And I was like, really? Because I was nervous. I thought he was going to be like, yeah, if you can't work that much, man, sorry. And he's like, this isn't a life choice for everybody.
For sure.
I was like, God. But now as a mature adult, it's like how lucky I was to run into that person who didn't have like a weird chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, because there are some people that are like managers of restaurants that are like, you're not going to do anything better than this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've ran into bosses that are like that to where, because it's funny, like, I've been a boss or whatever, I've led sales teams, and I will like run into people that I managed or something, and I'm like, man, you're doing that, that's awesome, like whatever, and they like cheer them on, like, like, it's very interesting. It's like you always cheer, like you don't run into a lot of like former bosses that are happy with that you're doing. I was like, yeah. I was like, you think I take offense that you wanted to do something different?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would I not? I coached you for 3 years. I want you to succeed. Why would I not?
Yeah. Man, I forgot it until just now. We were talking about like good, unique bosses. But I was thinking about this like long before this. We were going to do this interview, but after the special, there were 2 Iranian men in my life that were like key figures in my life. One of them when I was working at Eisenberg's.
Yes.
So I got fired for theft there. Did I tell you that already?
I've heard you talk about it on the podcast.
Okay, I can't remember if I talked about it or not. But anyway, and he was, I'm getting their names mixed up. So I'm going to be so upset when I'm older and I can't remember their names anymore. But one of them was Essie, I think was his name. And then is do you know if there's an Iranian name? Is it Ebi, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Okay. So I think Essie was the one that was at Eisenberg's, and because he was the husband of, Arlo Eisenberg was the guy. His mom and dad divorced at some point. I don't know the story, but the mom had married the Iranian guy, Essie. So him and her were kind of like running the day to day. He was there all the time. And if the stories around Eisenberg's were true from my coworkers, he was one of the hardcore, like he fled during the revolution and all that, and like had to like hop on this thing and hide in that thing to get here, whatever it was. So he was like a true like fled the country and started a life here kind of thing. I don't know. That's the story we had been told up there. And it seemed legit. And he was like a pretty commanding guy. Like he was very physically fit. He was sharp. And he like already had like gray hair and stuff, but he looked like an imposing figure still, And anyway, he could have like embarrassed me so bad. He could have like, get your piece of shit thief ass out of here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And instead he like pulls me in the back and he's like, hey, I want you to empty your pocket. I was like, because I had this little scam where like if you paid cash, some of the cash people I just put in my pocket, so it's like $6 at a time or whatever it was. And stupid little system. And so there's cameras all over the place. So he's just got me on camera doing it. He knows what happens. And, so I do it and he's like, why are you doing this? And I had in like a moment of desperation, I have like a, well, like I'm just tight on money or something like that. And he made a comment. He was like, you got Chipotle yesterday or something. Like just instantly seeing through the bullshit. And imagine it with like, there's still an Iranian accent. It's very blunt. Yeah. And it's just like, he's like, you've got fucking Chipotle. What are you talking about? Tight on money. And anyway, and he was just like, he's like, look, you're fired. He's like, but he's like, just go back out there for a minute. And he's like, and I'll come out and say like we're slow or something, and you can like save face basically. And that's how he terminated. Like he still let me like save face after all of that. And so you didn't even have the thing of being able to go like, what an asshole, this piece of shit. Like he took that away from you too. And that was a big turning point of like, okay, because all the jobs before that, I'd had some little hustle. Because again, growing up with like, I say not a lot. Like we always had food, shelter. We were taken care of. You know what I mean? I had parents who always made sure we didn't go without those things at least. But in a small town, you viewed like, it's like us against them, like rich people, poor people, that kind of stuff. So you figured like, they got plenty, they're not going to miss this and I'm going to use this, whatever the justification was. Whereas now I'm older, I'm like, I can't believe I was stealing from a family business.
Because that's some big corporation.
No, but when you're
their profit margin's probably like very
well, they're not there anymore. So it's like every now and then late at night, I'm like, I wonder if I contributed to that place closing by stealing those profits. Anyhow, but then when I got my next job, which was stocking boxes at Dollar General, it's like that was like a turning point of like, okay, I got to be like a hard worker from now on.
Yeah,
I can't do. And that was like a key figure. And then another one was whenever I was in college for what I do now. I think his name was Ebi, but I can't remember. And he was like the no nonsense, no bullshit. He was like a lab instructor. Mm-hmm. But it was just like, you messed up something and you're looking for all this grace. He's like, you just fucked that up. It's all fucked up. And he's like, and if you fuck that up, it's going to fuck everything else up. Like he wasn't saying those words, but it was just so strict and regimented.
You need that in your life.
Yeah, and I'd failed something in one of his labs, and it was like borderline whether or not I was going to stay in this program. Like I could have been kicked out at this point, and it's like it just squeaked by, and there was no like remorse or anything about it from him. He's just like, yeah, that's what it is, man. And it's like that really shaped me. Where it's like, man, yeah, you should be taking these things that seriously, because that at that point in college, it was like, am I buckling down on this as much as I can, or am I also going out and like drinking on Wednesdays when I knew I had this lab test on a Thursday? I
had the same. I had a so my favorite teacher of all time is my college professor from my theater director from the junior college that I went to. Okay, so I didn't try very hard in high school. I just got like my parents told me I had to have a B average to get a car. So what I would do is I would literally, at the beginning of every semester, I would take out the syllabi, and I would do math I'd have them all spread out in the kitchen table, and I would sit there and I'd do math and I'd calculate which assignments I had to do and which ones I didn't have to do in order to get that B still, right? So I didn't ever really care about it. So
all the effort to.
that's what my mom said. She's like, if you just put in the effort for the school, you probably, whatever. So I didn't have great grades out of high school. I just did the bare minimum to be able to have a car. And so out of high school, you go to these different spots to audition for colleges. There's a bunch of colleges that go to one stuff and you do 2 monologues. I had a couple of schools offer me something or whatever, and then I had a few that were like, we would offer you, but you can't get into our school, right, with your grades. And so I decided to go to this junior college because my mom was like, go there, and then you can like work hard and like go wherever you want after that. I was like, okay, so that's where I went. And this guy recruited the hell out of me, right? Like recruited me to come there, made a big deal. He would call me to check up on me, all this other type of stuff. And then most of my life leading up to that point, I kind of just got away with anything that I wanted to do. Like, didn't really have to work. I would show up to rehearsals, but like when it was like work call and we had to do like the hard things, I was the funny, leader or whatever, and I would get out of stuff. And you know what I mean? Because I was I was a good actor, so I was like, they would just kind of take care of me or whatever. Wouldn't make me do much like that. I remember one time they were like, just hold this hammer or whatever, and like, and I could just or whatever. And he didn't play that game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, I don't care. And in my mind, I'm like, well, dude, you recruited me to come here. I didn't come here to build sets and lug this stuff around and everything like that. He didn't play that game. Yeah. He was like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. And I really give him a lot of, give him a lot of credit for my work ethic. Because, obviously I watched my parents, so that's where I got, a lot of it, but he like called me on it. Right. To where it's like, you're not going to, I mean, he never said like, you're not getting away with that. He just didn't let me get away with anything. Yeah. And so I graduated that with like I was on the dean's list every semester, all this other type of stuff, because, and a lot of it was him just not allowing me to get away with anything. Yeah. I wasn't special.
You need those people too. Like I worry that we're losing more people like that in society. People feel like, I think a lot of people feel like if you set a high bar that people can't achieve it. And it's like, I don't think that's the case. I think people can reach a lot of goals that you set for them. Maybe you struggle to show them the importance of hitting that goal. I don't know. But it's like when this person held you to it, all of a sudden you're able to get there.
And he did it from a place of caring.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's like, if you set high standards for people, but you also meet them halfway and show them with compassion, they'll do great things. Right. Right. They'll do more than they even realize they're capable of.
Yeah. I think people are a lot like, it's like when you have like a high energy animal or something, it's like if you go get like a, what's that dog? Like a Malinois, it's like you got to exercise that thing all the time. Yeah. And I think that's like a lot of people, it's like you got to have something that's pushing you, even if it's just a mental exercise or something. It's like you need a goal to achieve. Like how much of the like the mental issues that we have now in society, it's because like you're cooped up on social media, never doing anything, And I'm not saying you got to get out and like go run or do something, but it's like, if your hobby is chess, it's like just get in a little chess team or something and like start pushing it as much as you can and like getting out of your comfort zone. Yeah. And it's like, I think if people just had activities, hobbies, again, I think that's why so many people are wrapped up in politics to a really unhealthy level. Yeah. It's like, go find you a thing. Well, go find you a thing.
That's what I've told my kids from the last maybe 3 or 4 years. I've told them that when you get in, you need to think about what it is now that you want to do. But when you get into high school, there isn't an option. You have to be part of an extracurricular. I was like, I don't care what it is. Whatever it is that you want to do, you're going to do something. I was like, you will not be this kid that just goes to school and comes home. Yeah. And I said it's for multiple reasons. One, it's so that you can have long-lasting memories. Right. Right? That you can look on, because otherwise school's just school. But it's also to like teach you to work hard towards something, to work as a team, to have, adapt and overcome.
Yeah, maybe you can break the full court press.
Yes. Come on now. Right? That's what people are always like, do you want your kids to do theater? I was like, I don't care what they do.
Yeah, something productive that you enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now we're throwing him into everything we can, but it's like, God, I just hope you find the thing that you like excelling at. That's all it is.
Yeah. And my girls haven't found it yet. And that's okay. Yeah. And I keep telling them that. I was like, they have things that they like a lot, but they haven't found like their thing that they are going to be like, that they can walk around where it's, You know that.
Yeah.
I think honestly, my oldest will probably do something where it's like giving back to people because she is like an encourager. She's so good at like helping people out. She really, she's gonna do something. And then my youngest is she's gonna run a company or something. I don't know, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
It's going to. Like they'll find what they want to do, but a lot of that starts with making sure, like, if you're on the yearbook team, you're the best. You're all into it.
Yeah. You're making memories for all these people. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely like I'm a 40-year-old man thinking these types of things now, but like I can't stop thinking now about how good the country, the world, the town, the state, whatever you're in, if like whatever your job is, even if it's not your dream, but like if it's just the job you're doing, it's like how good could things be if we all really cared about the work that we're doing, right? Yeah, I know it's not your dream to work at Target, okay? I know it's not your dream to work at Chipotle, but you're here making money. What if we just did the best we could at this crappy job? And then guess what? I do think some of that work ethic, some of those skills, like the work ethic you learned from that theater teacher translates to the next things you're doing, right?
Yeah.
The lesson I learned from Eisenberg's taught me that I need to not be a piece of shit and work harder when I got the Dollar General job. And then I had a good boss there who worked with me really hard. And it's like, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, it's like taking that stocking job seriously is what helped me develop these skills to then get gainfully employed later on, right? So it's like it's just unloading freight off of a truck, putting it on the shelves, and then organizing it backward. It's all bullshit. But it's like learning that set me up for other things. And it's like if you live in that little community and you shop at that little store and your shit's always out on the shelf because the person stocking boxes is taking their job seriously, it's like that does have a little impact on, like, somebody came in there that day, needed something, got it because you did your job well. Multiply that out, extrapolate that out to every single thing that we all do all the time. It's like, how good could the world be?
Yeah.
You know, if you just went into Quick Trip and the shit's on the shelves, the worker's doing a good job, the floors are clean, the gas tanks are always full, ready to go. Like, isn't society better for that, you know? And that's definitely like my old man thinking now of just like, how good could, like, you know, pick an industry that sucks, right? How good could it be, though, if we just didn't have these piece of shit people who didn't care about what they're doing at all, and that I took a ton of pride in it, even if it's a seemingly menial job, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know if you'll get people to do that. I don't know. You know what I want to do? Have you seen the videos where these people like mow yards for free?
Yes.
God, I want to do something like that
That's
so bad.
So cool.
Like, I want to quit all this and just go start mowing lawns.
Man, there is something about doing manual labor that like I was where was I? It was the last time I was on the road. It doesn't matter, but it was like 3 weeks ago. My wife and daughters trimmed the bushes and pulled weeds while I was gone, and I was so jealous. I was so upset.
It's my job.
Well, I was just like, I don't know what happened where I didn't get a chance to do it. My wife was like, I'm gonna go ahead and like do the trim the bushes and pull the weeds so that next week when you're back we can mulch and everything like that. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. It's like, I need to get done because it's gonna rain or whatever. I want to get done or whatever. And I was like, no. She's like, what do you mean what? And I was like, I want to do that. You don't know how mad I am that I'm missing out on this.
Well, have you heard about grounding?
What is that, like going and like touching grass, basically?
Touching grass. I don't know if it's real or not, but man, I've been like walking my dog barefoot just for that, you know, like in the evenings and stuff. And I think that's part of it. It's like if you're on your hands and your knees on the ground, like pulling weeds, doing those things, just touching. I mean, everything. It's like even this table's probably a fake laminate top or something, you know. It's like none of this is real. We're on carpet in here right now and like our shoes and all that. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing right now. It's like that probably sounds like a really conservative thing, and that used to be a really liberal thing of like, no, you just need to be like in nature, man. You need to be touching the earth.
Last
touching
Sunday,
the
I moved like 20 bags of mulch and a bunch of stuff, and I was
Feels
like,
good, right?
That's amazing.
Dude, and you always sleep the best you've ever slept.
Yeah.
When you do that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I sleep a lot better than I do when I'm out doing comedy. That's for sure. Dude, man, I don't sleep at all when I'm out doing shows. Like when I'm on the road.
Aren't you just when you're on the road though? Aren't you just in like 5-star hotels?
Yeah,
and
just
stuff?
like the top
partying?
of the line.
Dude, you got a special out now. Like now you're big time.
You know, driving 14 hours, no big deal.
Do we have any official haters of the special yet? We need some negative feedback from people who are just like, y'all, man, what y'all put out sucks.
So far, people have just been saying nice things.
That's why we haven't made it yet.
I know. We haven't popped off. Nothing's happened.
I mean, did we check our account today? What are we up to? I haven't looked at it today.
I haven't looked at it today. All right.
Well, how do you feel about it?
About what I'm happy with the product.
Okay.
I'm very happy with what you put out, and I think I've said that on a couple of podcasts already. Yeah. I don't know what is constituted as it being successful. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different metrics that you can use to measure success on things.
You're one view away from 6.8 thousand or 6,800. I mean,
you know what's funny though, dude? I looked at that yesterday, and it was at 6,800.
YouTube has some stuff where they look at the views and then they'll pull things away because they feel they aren't quality views, whatever that means.
I don't know. Who knows?
So maybe somebody watched it for 20 seconds and turned away, and that counted as a view or something. I don't know.
Who knows?
But anyway,
I don't know.
yeah, I know you're happy with the product, but I mean, now that you've released it into the world, your work, and it's out there being judged by people, how do you feel about it?
I think I feel pretty positive about it. You know. Here's
for those just listening, he said that with his arms crossed in like a nervous position. Like, I feel pretty good.
I feel pretty. You should watch it. I feel pretty positive about it because, you know, honestly, obviously you take positive feedback from whoever is nice, but I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people that I know the work that it takes to put in an hour out. Mm-hmm. So you know what I mean? So I take that, even if that's only been like 5 to 10-ish people that have said those things. I mean, in unprompted. It wasn't like, you know, I was like,
so what'd you think?
Yeah, around them or whatever. Like, hey, can you watch this and tell me what you think? It was like people like literally just hitting you up out of the blue and saying, you know, nice things about it. So I guess it's, you know, I'm happy with it. I do think that I'm going to be able to use it to get a lot of work, and that's a win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be real interesting throughout the rest of 2026 to see how you use this, right? Because you just had the honeymoon phase, right, of releasing it and all the excitement around that.
Yeah,
and then it gets it just into more of the long grind of it. Of, you know, you're going to be doing shows on the road, working on your new material, right? And you're like back in the groove. And then while you're doing that, this will keep silently just ticking away, you know. And then I think at the end of 2026, it's going to be interesting to see just how many views that has for one, but then also how many times you're like, oh yeah, the booker said he checked this out or that out. And then, because we talked about that was one of the big goals, is like moving tickets as a headliner and using this as a tool to do that.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know if that will happen. About the ticket part, but I think what's going to happen more than anything is the being able to use it to get other shows, and I think that is a win in itself. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm being maybe a little pessimistic.
It's because the honeymoon phase just ended.
Well, because I'm just trying to tamper expectations.
No,
like,
don't do that. Go wild.
I mean, yeah, like I
break the full court press.
I'll quit my job tomorrow. But you know what I mean? Like, because I don't want to be. I had gone back and forth of when I would think about it before, like the couple weeks leading up to it.
Yeah.
That one day I would convince myself that, like, okay, this is gonna take off and go nuts. And then the next day I'd be like, we're going to get 13 views. Like, there was no in between.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm hoping that it'll lead to more and more bookings, which I have gotten a handful of bookings from people.
At this point of the recording, has it even been a month?
No, it'll be a month in like 5 days.
See, everybody, even though we had conversations about this, everybody thinks like it's like we've all, including me, we've all got those secret dreams. Like, I bet we open it up tomorrow and it's got like 150,000 views.
Well, dude, okay.
But the reality is, it's like, it's just going to be a year's worth of doing your thing, promoting it the way you know how to, and then it just grows. Yeah.
The best thing is when I get to do like a weekend of shows, because our special came out on a Monday, and then I was in New Mexico on Thursday, and then Arizona Friday, Saturday. Yeah. So it was the Thursday show I headlined, so I had to do an hour. So I did do about 15 minutes from Blended Feathers, and then I did most of I Like Your Jesus, and then the rest the new stuff that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
But at in Arizona, I was featuring, so I was only doing 30-minute sets, so I didn't do any jokes from Blended Feathers except the Blended Feathers joke because I still had merch to sell from there because I was trying to get rid of the last of those shirts.
Yeah.
So it was great to like when I was up on stage pitching it during my merch pitch, being like, literally, it's an hour of stuff you did not see tonight besides one joke.
Yep.
Right. And so, or there were times where I forgot to do the Blended Feathers joke. So I would go up there and be like, do my merch pitch and be like, and this piece of merch makes no sense to you, but it is the name of my special. So, whatever. And people would still come by it or whatever, because they want to buy stuff to support.
Yeah.
But it was great to like afterwards, like talk to people and be like, hey, here's the QR code to save it. It's literally, it's nothing I saw tonight. No, it's literally nothing you saw tonight, And as continuing to build the hour, the new stuff, it'll eventually get to the point to where I'm not doing any of that at all,
Before you know it, you'll be talking about filming another one, man. It's gonna be exciting because it'll be a totally different top. I'm assuming it's going in a different direction now.
I don't really know what I am talking about on stage. It's
there you
really interesting. I don't know. At first I was trying to lead this way of like trying to write something about like parenting more. And because like that's the phase that I'm at in my, obviously that's like where my life is centered around right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just not getting what I want from it yet. So it'll come when it comes. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying these things. I'm putting them out there. Sometimes it's super awkward on stage.
I think you could do 20 minutes seriously on, pick a thing. Like I'd love to see some of the local people do more of where they like pick a thing. So like the full court press thing you were talking to me about. I feel like the nuance of that whole thing, like that could be stretched to 10-minute thing if you really like, and maybe it doesn't turn into like a full hour set or anything, but like I just think more comics could have fun with like hyper specific things like that those are so relatable because we've all been in some form of thing like that, but God, it's so funny. And it's like I want to hear your like honest, like embarrassing, like the way you would embarrassingly talk about how like out of hand you were getting with it or something. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of like, he's already talked about it, but like Kevin DeAnda, right? He didn't finish the marathon that we were running. I would love to see, to me, it's like that whole experience. How is that not 30 minutes?
I don't know.
The whole experience. Because, he wrote that thing about it online. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about it. But, he claims he was the last person of the marathon.
Yeah.
Now, we can all find people who have finished a marathon, right? You probably know a friend of a friend or something. But how many people do you know who were the last person of the marathon and also the last person to quit the marathon?
I don't know.
That's a totally...
it's
like you need to... And then just the story of like, I want to know the drive home. Yeah. And like all that stuff. You know?
I've thought about doing material about training for the marathon when I ran it.
Yeah.
And doing that. Like I have some ideas of how I could incorporate that because the last, 18 months to 20 months of my life, I've lost a decent amount of weight and I've kept most of it off. I've added a few of it back, or whatever. And so that is what some of my material is about.
Yeah.
And it's like talking about like I'm talking about how like I did like I do carnivore basically. That's basically what I do, but it's like so douchey and I don't want to talk about it. And it's like, but like how crazy some of these people are that are on carnivore that they like think vegetables are harming them.
Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of lions walking around scared of VeggieTales. These guys that just think I'm a lion, I'm a beast, right? And then they think broccoli is going to take them out. And so I've been trying to like write some stuff about.
See, I think that's fun because I'm still learning about you and what you're going. Like I still feel like I'm getting to know about you a little bit,
Yeah.
And I mean that's just my own personal. Like I like that style of comedy.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'll do the rest of my comedy life is just talk about my life because I think that's more interesting. And I don't think I'm that good of a writer to be like take a topic, some weird thing, and like go. I think I'm a much better performer than I am writer. And so Which actually, no, I'll take that back. I think I did a good job writing this last hour of,
Yeah, sell the special, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch the special.
It's
okay?
incredible.
It's right. It all ties together.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say this: a lot of callbacks.
I was impressed with the callbacks.
The callback. That's like.
I was impressed.
So, like, I'm not gonna
editing. I was like, because what I've noticed is I like the callbacks so much that some of the clips have been hard to make because the callbacks are there and you don't get it in a minute-long clip.
That's what I'm talking about when we started this thing, when your hater family and friends were like, or whatever. I was like, that's what has made it hard to, even when I was working on it, that if I didn't get 45 minutes to work on it, there were bits that I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Or like, okay, so the bit that I had a hard time doing if I didn't have a full set was the one where I talk about the friend zone.
Yes.
And the thing, whatever. It didn't make sense. Like I think I come off to people different than how the person that I actually am. I think I kind of come off douchey. I think I'm wearing a chain right now. I wear a lot of I spend way too much money on shoes. I have there's a lot of things. So if you only are getting 15 minutes of me, those things where I'm going to talk about being vulnerable and awkward, it's okay. You know what I mean? You're wearing a chain. All right. Right. So it doesn't work as well. So I couldn't do that bit that often, because sometimes when I tried to do it with only for a 15-minute set, people were just like, huh. But then when I did it in a headlining set, it murdered. So like that. So I will give myself, I have a hard time giving myself credit. I will give myself credit. Crush the callbacks. Okay. The callbacks are, the last joke has 3 callbacks in it, or 2. I can't remember. Or the ending of the special has multiple callbacks in it. Callbacks on callbacks. We call them back on callbacks.
The one I want to clip up the most, because I think it was my favorite sequence, but it's hard because it's spread out, is just the whole emo bit coming back in and out of that, the singing parts.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until I started clipping it how spread out they were, that we talked about it up top here, went through this whole thing, and then we hit it another time where it's I think the punch was Dear Daddy Dearest or something.
It's, I talk about it maybe 20 minutes in, and then we talk about it again at minute 45 or something.
And then just the Linkin Park singing cracks me up, but we're talking about it, and then we go through the mom and dad story that's a little longer, and then boom, we're back into and I was like, God, he brought it back around. But that's what I'm going to have to do is break these up into the full joke, where it's a 3 to 5 minute thing sometimes, and we'll put those up as longer videos on YouTube as well. Yeah. Instead of just the shorts. But it's funny. I did not think the emo one was going to consistently keep cracking me up the way it does. And then I was telling my wife, I was like, I can't believe this still makes me laugh, but it's the way you say,
buy me some cool
stuff,
Daddy.
Daddy. Yeah. Buy me some cool stuff, Daddy, or something like that. Whatever the inflection was, kills me every time. But yeah, no, I'm happy with how it came out, and I'm not saying from a production standpoint. I'm saying from a writing standpoint and a performance standpoint. I think it's great.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I like it
because I have a hard time telling myself I know it went well. I was there that night. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah,
I can, you know what I mean. People can't fake laughter. I mean, they can, but they can't fake it to that point, man.
Everyone, Mike, stop trying to convince yourself that it was a good show.
It was a great show.
Had a great time.
Hey,
and the recording came out well. Everyone likes it.
People cried. That was the goal.
Well, the performer did too. He had he was tearing up at the beginning. Yeah. He had his dick.
Yeah, my penis was out. I put it all on the line. And if you're listening to this podcast still and you haven't watched it,
it's time.
There's penises. There's jokes. There's tears. There's anxiety. There's singing. What do you do? Callbacks. If you don't know what a callback, we're calling back about the callbacks.
Calling back right now. Yeah, look, we've said enough about it. It's late. Let's get out of here. Yeah. But no, listen, I just want to say I'm super happy. I'm thankful that you allowed me to work on it. It was a fun project. And I think that you letting me work on this, just like Lawrence letting me do his, is going to lead me, now I have a proof of concept for a lot of other people who I hopefully get to work with in the future. So I do appreciate it. Thank you for doing that.
It was great.
All right, and Full Court Press, learn how to break it.
Yeah, break it now.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.